Hey, welcome everybody to tonight's live stream. We are live on YouTube and Facebook. Some live streams on YouTube may only be available for a short period. An edited version of this live broadcast will be put up in its entirety or maybe trimmed out if it's too long later as a podcast on my channel, Riding in the Ozarks. So if you're catching this tonight live, thanks for being here. If you're catching it as a podcast, make sure you go over to Riding in the Ozarks and hit that subscribe button and get the bell set for notify. So you will be notified next time we do a live, and you can join in on the fun and be part of the live stream, participate in the chat, tell us how we suck or how great it is or whatever, we're good, whatever. Just make sure you hit the like and the share and all that stuff, and you can say whatever you like. But anyway, we want to thank everybody for being here tonight. I want to also thank Schmidt Law Firm. They've been supporting us a lot this year and stuff. And the Cat House, they help us get to events and cover things and stuff. So some of the videos we do, we couldn't do without their support. So tonight, you've got me, Firecracker, Bagger Bader. I invited someone else. I don't know if they'll show up or not. They didn't say if they could make it, so we may have a guest later. And we're going to talk about the motorcycle news in Sturgis. So, Steve, let's start off with some of the news. And we were just talking about that, the 120th.
Yeah. I went 5 years ago to the 115th, and I mentioned to you from all the video I've watched, way bigger crowd, not even close.
Do you think Harley pulled out the stops inviting content creators this year?
If they're smart, but it sure looks like they did.
Yeah, I know, from personal experience that channels that you might not think would get invited got invited. Some of us couldn't go, but that doesn't mean we weren't invited. I know there was a lot of content creators there, the Fast Life guys and Two Lane, Cycle Showcase, Trips on Two Wheel. Have you seen his interview with G Long Harley-Davidson?
I did not.
It's got like 30 or 40,000 views, I think, in 3 days. They talk about $1 Million Bogo and stuff.
Hold on, I did watch it. Yeah.
So he caught those guys up here from Australia. That was pretty cool.
The owner, I always forget his name, Colin, right? The owner of Geelong. God, I like that guy. He makes me laugh.
Well, it was a good video and stuff, but yeah, I think they invited a lot of people this year. I'm thinking that we're gonna for the 125th, we're gonna have to definitely make that a thing.
Yeah.
If we don't get an invite, honey, you're just gonna have to cash in the piggy bank and take me. You can borrow from your 401k, right?
No,
because I can't. I don't have a 401k.
You're not making me retire later than I already have to.
Well, we've had this discussion. You cannot retire when I do because you'll have to have health insurance. You won't be old enough for Medicare.
Just gonna have to take care of me.
Yeah, I'll take care of you. Okay, honey, here's an Alka-Seltzer Plus. Hope you get over it.
I thought this channel is about to get X-rated.
Well, that might be before the night's out. We'll see. So, but yeah, that was cool coverage of the 120th. A lot of people there. If anybody in the chat was there, shoot us a message in the chat. Let us know if you were there. We got a lot of people in the chat already tonight. Ray's Moto Life is here. Ozark HD Riders is here. Hoghead Bill. Let's see here. NY Harley Rider. Gremlin. I know we got more than that because it says we've got 18 watching right now. So
good.
All right. So speaking of the 120th, there was a big event that ended there. One we've been talking about and we've been following. So Firecracker, did you hear what Adam raised as the final total for the Great American Convoy?
I'm not for sure. I think it was over 600,000.
It was 600,000. The original goal was 500,000. At least that's what I've seen posted was 600,000. So what they estimate or think they've raised. I don't know if because they were collecting money day of and stuff, but yeah, it sounds like we're around the 600,000 mark. When I say we, I mean all of us that contributed, because I know we donated. We were there when he took off and we made a donation there. And I know Steve got to go along on part of the convoy and donate and stuff. So, and Adam's really big about this isn't, it's him, but it's everybody doing this with him that makes it possible and stuff, and all the sponsors and everything. But, great cause, great amount, hit his goal. What was it, 84 days? He's been out there since April.
84 days of riding. Yeah.
And I think I saw 38,000 miles.
A lot.
Firecracker, you were up. You want to do the convoy with me next time?
I don't know that I can get off of work for that many days.
Well, maybe you can get a sponsor. You can go along and, collect money or something for him, help out.
Yeah.
But yeah, congratulations to Adam. Great job there. Great cause. There's Jay Sorsby in the chat. What's up, Jay? So, I don't know. It's just it was a great thing. I saw some comments on one of my posts where I shared it, and somebody called me a Sandoval sheep, and I don't know what that's about. But for everybody that's out there, I judge people based on the way they treat me. Adam's never done me wrong, never treated me wrong or given me reason to say anything ill. And so, what you say says a lot about you. So when you start, slandering people or calling them names and you don't back up why, then, you're just adding to the noise, taking away from the cause.
I think I shared with you, I've got a couple friends that are, in the business world, and they're like, how can he leave a business in the middle of the summer and take off and just for charity? And so the theory is, well, he's got to be getting paid somehow. And of course he had sponsors and that sort of thing. I'm sure that helped cover all his costs and stuff. But even let's say that he does take a cut, or he somehow does get compensated, even by wounded warriors themselves. Look at all the money he generated.
Right. Well, now he has said that he does not take a dime of the donations. So whether, sponsors are helping him cover his expenses or whatever else, but as well as I do, the campground's got managers. They run it. He's not, before this, he was not there all the time.
Yeah. He's got it running without him. Yeah.
I don't know if it's me again, but I've got that feedback. Can anybody else hear it?
You do have a little feedback. It's popping in and out. It's weird.
I'm going to mute April for a second.
No.
Do you hear it now? No. I don't know how we're getting that feedback, if it's same internet connection, but it's got to do with her mic.
I haven't touched my mic.
Well, you're very loud, so you could turn it down a little if you'd like. I don't know if it's gotten changed since we redid your desk or something, but.
What about now?
You're still loud. You're for you, that's loud because you talk soft.
Female,
what about now?
Part of the deal.
Let's see. Do I still echo?
It just depends.
I don't hear it right now.
Sometimes you do. Sometimes you don't. It's weird.
Hopefully we'll get that straightened out. So, yeah, but I mean, he went on all these trips and covered all these rallies and did all these things before this Wounded Warrior. I mean, he's got the campground. He owns it. But he's there a lot, but he's there, doing maintenance and things like that. But he can hire somebody to run the tractor and blade the drive, this summer. Yeah. It's just part of owning the business. And there's plenty of people who own businesses who are not at their business every day. I used to have a customer in St. Louis, and the guy that owned it lived in Hawaii and had cameras all over the business and ran it all remotely, have a 1 hour phone call with staff per day, and that was it. And other than that, he just had cameras there so he could kind of watch and make sure people were there doing the things they were supposed to be doing.
I'd be pissed if he wasn't compensated somehow. And Mike, this more than anybody. People that ride get this. I mean, that dude had to be getting up at butt crack of dawn. He had to get with that group, go through the visit about how to be safe, and let's all, safety, blah, blah, blah. Then he's had to put down the miles. A lot of it was in the rain. And then he had to edit his videos and get them out every day. I mean, the dude worked I bet he averaged 10 to 12 hours a day.
And he gave credit if you didn't see the post. He had a guy that joined him that ended up doing a lot of the photography and video. So because you can see him in the videos, and obviously he's not holding the camera. So he had a photographer that ended up joining the convoy and stayed with him and did a lot of that. And he gave them credit for a lot of the work and gave everybody to tell him go follow him on Instagram, which I did. So Shutterbug, I think something or another was his handle. But even if he's got people editing and taking video, what he makes off the YouTube videos, Jay pointed out that there'll be some revenue from posting all the time and things like that. That probably is all spent on people editing and doing all that so that he can focus on what he's doing. I mean, if he's doing it all himself, then he's Superman. That's all I can say.
Oh, man. And I know that his subscribership on YouTube went up at least 10,000 subscribers, so that helped him.
Yeah, but I don't think he's doing it for that purpose. Because to be honest, you could do other videos, and we know other content creators that are doing videos for subscribers and that have grown that much in less time than the Convoy. Yeah. So there's how you want to do it and what you want to do, and I really think that this is a mission for him that he wants to do, and that's admirable.
Absolutely.
So the 440 bike, Firecracker, did you watch my video on the X440 that Harley launched in India?
No, I did not.
Well, see, she doesn't even watch my videos, man. I can barely go to sleep with me. I'll just take that and get happy. So, Harley announced a single-cylinder 440 in India. As far as I can tell, it's only going to be available in India. It's not a bike that we're going to see in the U.S. or anything like that. I'm not impressed particularly with it. Not that it's particularly bad. The pricing seemed to be better than people expected, but it's a little cheaper than the Triumph Speed 400, but the Triumph Speed 400 that is made in India and was just launched was like really a better looking bike for a slightly more money. Look who's in the house throwing shit at me now. Looky here. I only watch your OnlyFans videos. Well, welcome aboard, Mr. Monkey. Thanks for stopping by. So I didn't think much of the 440. I mean, I know why Harley's doing it. I don't blame them for doing it, but I think they were a year late. If they could have been a year ahead of the Triumph Speed 400, then maybe they could have got more sales and got this out on the market, and it would have been a head start. But now they're launching the same time as the Speed 400, and the Triumph Speed 400 looks really good. I mean, even if they sold them in the US, I'd take the Triumph over the Harley X440 in a heartbeat.
Do you still remember much about the Street 500? I mean, what would be, well, I don't know why they couldn't have manufactured that and took it over there. Obviously, there's reasons.
Yeah, well, it's the reason they're doing this with Hero the way they're doing it. It's got to do with tariffs. India, they had a plant in India and they shut it down because when they first built the plant, it was to get around tariffs. And then India changed the law that if the company was, even if the bike was assembled in India but owned by a foreign company, then there was another level of tariffs. So at some point it became like they really weren't saving any money by building it there in India. So they just shut the plant down. Hero's building this, and it's branded as a Harley-Davidson, but they're basically building it and they're distributing it for Harley-Davidson, or they're paying Harley-Davidson a royalty for the name or however they're doing it. But I'm sure that's how they're getting around the tariffs and why they're doing it.
So it became political.
Well, it's financial. I mean, hey, Jay says my videos on OnlyFans are a bargain at $3.99 a month. Yeah, and Monkey agreed it's tariffs issues. But yeah, that Speed 400 was a good looking bike. They did a speed version and a scrambler version if you want something you take a little bit off road.
Yeah.
So let's get into the Sturgis thing. And Steve, you're going to do a lot of the talking tonight, man. I'm putting you on the spot unless I can get Monkey to join in. But I've got a video I'm getting ready to put out. I'll probably put it out in the next day or two about the rides that we're going to do at Sturgis this year. And I'm sure most of them are the more well-known rides, Iron Mountain Road, Needles Highway, that kind of stuff. But you want to talk about some of the roads that people may not know about, or some of the bars people may not know about. Yeah. So, yeah, I'm echoing again.
Yeah, a little bit.
I think it's something to do with you.
I can't. You want me to whisper? I'm whispering.
I don't know what you want to do, but you keep blaming on me. It's not me.
Steve, you talk. I'm going to go upstairs and turn her mic down.
I did turn it down. I can get off of here if you want.
No.
You seem
Damn.
louder than usual to me still. You turn the volume down or the gain down on the back.
I turned the volume down.
The volume doesn't have anything to do with the gain. You got to turn
Lose all 5
The
viewers.
gain is almost all the way down,
Okay.
unless it's turned the wrong way.
Okay. Go back where you were. Sit back like you were and talk.
Hello.
You're much different volume level now, isn't she, Steve?
I didn't mess with
She's-
anything.
She's like it now. She's a little like in a cave.
Oh, I
Yeah.
turned it away from me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Turn it more towards you and
It's towards me.
okay. All right.
And I didn't change any settings.
I don't know. We just can't get it right. Let's move on. Let's talk Sturgis and I'll try and figure it out. And maybe this is
we
my
talk about the roads. Of course, we've got Professional Monkey on here who does an outstanding job of covering Sturgis, and there's a couple other channels out there that do a great job as well. But one of the things that I don't catch too much of is some of the other good roads out there that don't get covered near as much. And I've got some notes here, so forgive me, but Highway 85 from Cheyenne Crossings down to Four Corners is a beautiful run.
That's actually part of a loop that we rode last time we were there. That's in my recommendation. We come from Devil's Tower to Four Corners and then go up.
Yeah. And I do another loop, which I'm going to get to another highway that loops up to Four Corners as well from the south. But and there's a stream that you follow. There's a little gas station. This is so quirky. There's a little gas station just before you get to Four Corners, and they have a little tent out front. And I always like to stop there. And they have a pulled pork sandwich. And I'm not gonna lie, it's not really that good, but it's tradition. So I always have to stop in. It looks like a little family-owned deal. So I feel like I'm helping out and supporting, the locals on it. But that is certainly an excellent road. Another one is Highway 24 from Hewlett to Belfouche. That's after you've seen the Devil's Tower.
So my route, because this is all kind of ringing true, is what we did on a Topless Tuesday. We did Belfouche up to Alzada and then down to Devil's Tower and back across Four Corners and back in.
Yeah.
So we rode parts of that. And I put that as a route because I really enjoyed that loop.
Yeah. There's some curvy, it gets pretty curvy outside of Hewlett. And what's nice is you can get some speed going, you can do, maybe a little above the speed limit and take some of those windy curves. And I think it gets 3 to 4 lanes through there at times, which is kind of nice. So I love that run. And then it takes you, as you're headed over to Belfouche, I love hitting Stonehouse Saloon, one of my favorite spots to stop. And I don't know if you've ever been there or not, Mike. They have the camouflage netting over a big portion of the bar area where you're standing outside.
Isn't that where the Topless Tuesday and stuff is?
Yeah, when we were there, they didn't have any camouflage netting.
Okay.
We were there 4 years ago.
Okay.
It's definitely Stoneville. And yeah, it's
no, not Stoneville. This is Stonehouse.
Oh. No,
Yeah,
I haven't
which
been
is
to
about
Stonehouse.
4 miles west of Belfouche.
Oh, okay. No,
So-
we didn't stop there.
If you haven't been there, you gotta go. It's a kick-ass bar, and it's out in the farm field. It's some farmer turned an old decrepit house into a bar just for the rally.
Right. Like Sturgis is the only place you could do that and get away with it once a year.
Right. Another highway that I wanted to mention is the North Rockford Road. This is up by Cheyenne Crossings again, and that's Highway 85, and it takes you down to Rockford. And what's nice about that run is at the bottom is Moonshine Gulch Saloon, which is a really cool bar. I talked to someone that works there today. They usually open around 10, she said. They don't have any real specials going on other than they'll welcome you with open arms, full bar, and they've got some food options. Now, the only negative about that run is it doesn't run through, so it's a dead. It turns into dirt roads from there. So you have to go back up the way you came to leave. But it's a really nice, windy, curvy road. It's not real technical, but it's really beautiful. Let's see here. Highway 16 from Custer to Newcastle. This is where we're kind of making that loop, that southern loop. And I think a lot of guys from the West Coast probably come in this way. But I was surprised. There's a nice little section of that road that gets curvy and twisty, where you kind of have to hit the brakes and be careful of what you're doing. And I enjoyed that ride as well. And then I think the fifth and last one that I had was Highway 87, which heads south off 16A, and you take 385 south to Hot Springs. Have you ever taken that road down to Hot Springs? There's a pigtail there on that road. It's a very scenic run. I've only done it once. I definitely want to do it again. But those are 5 roads that are really fun. I recommend everyone listening to check those roads out and maybe make a day and try a couple of them.
Yeah, I don't think we've got to do much. The only thing we did around the Mount Rushmore area was we did the Iron Mountain Road, Needles Highway, and part of Custer State Park.
Funny enough, I've never done Custer State Park. I grew up in a town where there was buffalo or bison, so maybe it just doesn't excite me. I'd rather go.
When you come off Iron Mountain Road, you're like at the entrance.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah. Yep.
So we went into Custer and we went into a little bar and they were playing Cody Jinks. And we were Cody Jinks fans. And this was 4 years ago before he was big enough to be opening up for Foo Fighters at Harley-Davidson's 120th anniversary.
Right.
And, I was like, this is my kind of place. Cody Jinks is on the jukebox when we walk in the door. So
Yep.
Monkey says, all great suggestions. You should do a video for real. It'd be good to see those on the map. So Steve, maybe me and you get together and do a follow-up because I have a video coming out already recorded with mine, and we'll let people know we're going to try and come out with another one. And you can send me maps, and we'll see if we can put something together.
Yeah, absolutely. You bet.
My videos I'm going to come out with, I do throw some screenshots up of the roads to help you find where they're at and the sections that I've rode that I'm particularly, excited about. And Iron Mountain Road and Needles Highway is something everybody rides, but it's still a good ride. That loop around Devil's Tower is great. It includes part of the roads you were talking about. The part out around Devil's Tower come back into Four Corners. It's not real technical. These are big sweeping turns. It's something everybody can ride, but it's still very beautiful and scenic. And, you're out, you can ride for 2 miles and not see a house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Did you took the road from Hewlett up to Stoneville Saloon?
From Belfouche. We took from Belfouche to Stoneville, and then you backtrack like a mile and you cut south down to Devil's Tower.
I don't remember the highway, but I went with a guy that's been a bunch of times, and there's a turn right when you get into Hewlett, you turn left, and it takes you up to Stoneville. And for anyone that wants to just cut loose, man, and see what your bike will do, there is absolutely nothing, and most of it's very straight. And
let's see if you can share the map here and you can point it out.
Yeah, you can haul some serious ass on that road. I don't know if I can.
We're going to share a screen here.
I've got my computer here too.
So,
here we go. Yeah, so So just as you enter Hewlett from Devil's Tower, it's Highway 112.
Yeah, that's what we took from Stoneville down.
Okay. So
that's
you
how
know
we
you
did
can
it.
haul ass on that highway.
Yeah,
There's
we
no
came.
one.
So my route that I'm going to share in my video, you go from Belle Fourche. Well, hell,
So you're
I
on
think I've got
Highway
the files.
24.
Yeah, hang on. I'll just share with you guys that tuned in to early some of the routes that I'm going to bring up. So let me remove that, and because I've got them mapped out and saved already.
It's because you're a professional, Mike.
Well, it's because they're already in the video, and I've got like a 1 minute outro to record after this, letting people know we're going to do a follow-up video, and then I'm going to publish it. It's probably tomorrow or the next day. So, Devil's Tower Loop. I'm going to pull this up and then share this.
If I got time, so as we were leaving Hewlett on Highway 24 and we were heading toward Belle Fourche, I don't know for sure, but I kind of have an inkling. As we were hitting those curves, I was doing probably 65, 70. And all of a sudden, I had a group of about 4 dudes who obviously knew how to ride because I was clipping pretty good around those corners. They came by me. Now, they didn't fly by me, but they came by me. And they had California tags. And I'm not so sure that was the Two-Lane Life Crew.
You never know. Could be.
Before they were Two-Lane. Seems
So-
like – yeah, go ahead.
So here's one of my favorite loops. It hits a lot of those roads you were talking about. And I kind of brought up to, we're staying out here by Deadwood and Leeds. So you could run over here and catch Spearfish Canyon, do it, go straight on up to Belle Fourche and up to Alzada for Topless Tuesday or No Panty Wednesday. Take your pick. And then ride that 112 down to Hewlett and down to Devil's Tower. And then you have a little bitty short section of highway right here. And then you jump back off. You take this down to 4 corners. And this is just big, wide open nothingness.
Right.
And then you jog and you're right back into the Black Hills and take that back up into Deadwood or Sturgis from there.
Yeah, from Sundance to 4 Corners is another place where usually me and my group really open it up and blow out the cobwebs.
So somebody brought up Van Ocker Road.
Yeah, so Vanacker is one of the big 4 for me. I include that with Iron Mountain and Spearfish and Needles. Those are the 4 big, what I consider the 4 big runs up there.
Yeah, Van Ocker, Needles, Custer, and Spearfish, I think, are the 4 that people talk about the most.
Yeah.
And, Devil's Tower people talk about as a sightsee, but not so much as a ride. But I really enjoy kind of that big loop.
Yeah. There's some fun terrain, through there for sure.
Monkey has an entertaining video or 8, maybe 8,500. I don't know. It's up there.
I've watched every video I think Monkey's ever put out. His Sturgis videos are phenomenal.
Steve, that's a little creepy, bro.
I know.
You stalking him?
Well,
do you got a bro crush? Do you got a bro crush?
It's Mrs. Monkey.
You watch all his videos hoping she'll have a cameo appearance, open the garage door, yell something at him, and then he'll shut it and not show up in the video. She does that once in a while.
Sorry, April. You're my number 1.
So there's a Van Ocker Canyon Road.
Yeah,
and,
great road. Great run.
It is. And, I read somewhere someone talked about a canyon loop. They talked about doing this, hitting Spearfish Canyon, and apparently this little stretch of road right here is called Boulder Canyon. Are you moving something, April?
I was trying to fix your muffling after you started doing the echo.
Well, I don't know, but whatever you did made a lot of noise.
Okay, so it must be turned the right way.
Okay. Am I still echoing?
You were echoing before I started doing that.
I know. Am I still echoing now?
Not now.
No, it's just off and on. You do it.
I don't know.
It's
Do you have
weird.
internet running in the background on something else?
No, but it's got to be tied to me and you, whether we're on the same internet is the problem or what. But because when I mute you, it absolutely goes away. But I don't know what the deal is.
But you don't leave it on. It's not constant when you're doing it. It's just here and there. So you're not leaving me muted long enough to see if it's me.
No, but when I mean when I like if I mute when it's happening, if I mute you, it kills it immediately. So anyway, yeah, you were talking about loops and Iron Mountain Road, and to me, if you're doing Iron Mountain Road, you need to do Needles Highway at the same time. I mean, they're so close together, all that. So, this is kind of my loop for that part of the country. So hit Mount Rushmore, get your photo taken.
Yep.
Run your ass right back down 16A here. That's Iron Mountain Road. Yep. Now, if you don't want to go through Custer State Park, really, you can hang a right here and cut over and catch Needles Highway there. But technically, this is the south entrance of Needles, but it's not nearly as curvy as that part. But if you want to see if you can find you a bison or buffalo, you can run on down here through the state park, cut across, then take Needles Highway all the way back out. And this is only a 50-mile loop. It's 2 hours. So if you get down there in the morning or early afternoon, you could spend 4 hours and still have time to go over here to Crazy Horse. I mean, when we did this, we left from here and we took 89 south into Custer and instead doing that top part of Needles. Yeah. So, either way, there's lots of options there, but there's lots of stuff to see in that area. And you could spend a day down here. April particularly likes Keystone, just the feel of that little town.
Yeah, it's a cool little town. Hill City's cool. I always cut across.
Oh, we're going to see if we can see the buffalo.
Lone Cowboy Ventures wants to know if in the Missouri area. We are in South Central Missouri. I go to Bike Fest every year. It's not real far away. We go to the bike a lot and Bike Fest a lot. And, there's going to be some news coming out about some new stuff at Bike Fest. I got a confirmation on it earlier today, but he's not said whether I can go public with it yet or not. So I'm not going to put that out just yet. But Monkey, it'd be something. It's someone you know and something you would be interested in. So you stay tuned. I sent a screenshot to somebody and they're like, "How did you know about this?" So again, this time my source was Firecracker because she found it on accident, and it's been put out there and wasn't supposed to be put out there.
You're not supposed to name your sources.
Monkey, someone I know. It might be related to something that we all did together in February.
Could be. Between you and Monkey, there's probably not a whole lot going on that one of you are not aware of.
Yeah, I get a lot of people ask, "How'd you find out about that?" or "How'd you know?" And if my source doesn't want to be disclosed, I try and protect that. But
hey, Mike, I just thought of another road that's pretty cool. So you've done this one. So I always like to go to Nemo in the morning, one morning for the fireman's breakfast. They put on a pancake breakfast deal, and it goes to the local Nemo community, which is pretty cool. But when you leave Nemo, and it's here on Google Earth, it's calling it Nemo Road, but you can take that road all the way down to Rapid City, and that's kind of a fun little run. It's not real challenging, but it's really pretty, and you're kind of riding through the canyon.
Yeah, and you're right at the end of Van Auker Road there at Nemo.
Yeah, and what I usually do is once I get to Rapid City, I hang a left at the U-Haul. That's how I always remember it. I hang a left at the U-Haul, and then I run over to the Harley dealership.
I'm trying to remember. Do you remember, Firecracker, when we did Van Auker Canyon? That's the one where there was an accident and we had to stop and wait while they were bringing a helicopter in to fly people out. And we were sitting there for an hour and stuff. When we got to the end of that road, did we go right or left?
I don't remember.
I don't either. Yeah, somebody else was leading and you were on the back and you didn't have to worry about which way we go.
Very
Yep.
nice.
Monkey says he has no idea what I'm talking about. I'm aware of nothing.
Well,
As
hey,
he laughs.
hey, you didn't say anything about going to the Badlands, did you?
In my video, I talk about the Badlands as being
Okay.
a ride that we do on our way in.
Yeah.
Because I do think people should try and make that loop. If you haven't done it, it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool to ride your bike through the Badlands.
As far as seeing, like when he took me to see everything, because I'd never been there, that was my favorite scenery. As far as Mount Rushmore, yeah, it was okay, but it wasn't like I didn't think it was as much as exciting as the Badlands, personally.
Well,
Once you're
Monkey-
at the Badlands, it's worth the price of admission. It's just getting there.
Yeah, it's expensive though. Goodness.
Yeah. State park.
Monkey, check your Instagram. Seriously, check your Instagram. It was on the internet. Firecracker found it, and when I sent it to the gentleman who's involved in it, he was like, "How'd you find out?" So I don't think it was supposed to be public knowledge yet, but it is out on the internet.
It's not on Instagram. It was on Facebook.
Well, if you click the link on
Oh.
Facebook, it takes you to a website.
Okay. Okay.
So it's on the internet, and Facebook's still on the internet. But yeah, it's public. It's not on a private page or anything like that. So I have a question for all of you. I know they print maps of most of the rides in and around Sturgis. Where and which one is the best map to get? I can't say because I don't usually I don't know that I picked one up in Sturgis. When we went 4 years ago, we went with friends and they already knew all these routes and they were going to lead. So we didn't worry about getting a map because we were just kind of along for the ride, letting them show us around and everything else.
There's a map. So there's one map that everybody has. I mean, all the hotels, all the restaurants, everybody has this one particular map of the area, and it's good. I don't do as well with maps. I like to get on the internet. I like to get on Google Earth. They call me Google Steve, and I like to see it. I like to see it other than just being on paper.
Yeah, it's cool. Monkey's read Instagram, so he knows what's up now.
So,
yeah, I'm trying to talk that gentleman into coming to a live stream. I have a friend who knows him pretty well that's going to see if he can convince him to come onto our live and talk about that when the time is right. So Monkey said he had a funny story. He had a tire put on his wife's bike last week and he didn't even look to see what it was. He bets it's a Dunlop, but he never paid attention. His luck, it'll be a damn Shinko. Kendra. Sorry. I hope I didn't jinx him.
That Shinko's not going to look good on that douchebagger he's building.
This is her bike. Have you seen her bike with the build?
Yeah. Douchebag. He went full douchebagger, man. He did not only the stretch back end, but the raked out stretch back end. And but it's a beautiful looking bike.
So
I love that.
It better not be for $400.
So Mike, somebody earlier in the chat, I don't remember who it was going and they were hoping to run into you, meet you, and was wondering if you were doing a meetup somewhere.
We have not planned it. I don't really have any contacts or sources in Sturgis to say, hey, can I do a meetup there? So, haven't really planned anything. I do have a vendor or two that I've, worked with, Optic Eyewear, who's going to be at Rapid City. So maybe I'll reach out to Bob and see that if he wants us to come over and hang out for a couple hours at his booth and people could come by there and meet us or something. I won't show up someplace and have a meet and greet or something without clearing it with the restaurant or the bar or whoever. I think that's rude and it's not something I would just plan. And I don't really know anybody in Sturgis. And I don't know who in Sturgis knows me, so
I got a suggestion if I can.
Sure.
So we have a DJ here in Kansas City that's a huge Harley guy. And every year he takes a Winnebago, which they call the fart box, because there's 10 guys in it. And they run up to Full Throttle Saloon every year. And he says they have a Radio Row there. So that might be a good spot. You might talk to Michael Ballard at Full Throttle and say, hey, can you set something up for us at doing a meet and greet? And then if Radio Row consists of more than just this one DJ here in Kansas City, that might be an opportunity for all you guys. You know, you can maybe get on the radio.
Monkey says that Advan has a tent also, and they'd be happy to host you. So he'd bet. And I'm sure you could talk to Alan. I've never talked to Alan, but I've seen him on that Monkey's channel and stuff. Maybe we'll talk about that. Maybe we can figure that out. We know what we're doing Monday and Tuesday, and we wanted to save the.
We do.
Yes.
Okay.
I have Monday and Tuesday planned. I don't know if Tuesday's going to be an all day thing, but I'm not counting anything else in. So Michael Ballard is too cool for our kind, just an assumption, but a feeling. So Wednesday's kind of open. And then Thursday and Friday, we were talking about one of those 2 days riding Custer State Park and Iron Mountain Road, Needles Highway and all that. So I'm thinking, maybe Wednesday would be a good day to go spend all day at, Rapid City and Sturgis and go to the concerts Wednesday night at Buffalo Chip and all that.
What's the concert Thursday?
Whiskey Myers, I know, is one of them.
Okay. You always want to skip the nights that I want to go.
No, you what night you want to go? Thursday?
I
Friday?
go get my sheet.
Okay. Tuesday night we could go. Go get your sheet if you want. I don't know where you keep your sheet beside your desk, but anyway. She keeps banging that stuff around. That mic has got to be sensitive. I'm gonna have to turn the gain down on it. Yeah, it picks everything up.
Yeah.
But
speaking of that DJ,
we got Dave's Crazy Trailer on here, man. Do you know who Dave's Crazy Trailer is? He has a little crazy trailer at K River behind his Victory. With all the stickers on it? You didn't meet Dave?
I'm sure I saw him. I've been there too many times not to have.
So I'll take the map out now. But so like for bars, we've never been to Buffalo Chip. It's gonna be our first time at Buffalo Chip this year. Monkey, have you decided for sure what day you're leaving yet? And but we're gonna try and catch up with Monkey and them at Buffalo Chip one night. But I know Kickstands has got some free concerts. I haven't been to that place yet. I've been to Full Throttle Saloon. I've been to One Eyed Jack's downtown. What's the other one downtown, the big one that's kind of on the main drag going out toward Buffalo Chip?
The Steel Pony?
It's a 2-story bar.
Iron Horse or Steel Pony.
Where's Broken Spoke now?
Broken Spoke's right next to it. And I almost think it's all kind of one and the same, maybe even.
Okay, I think that's the one we haven't been in. I was in the old Broken Spoke years ago.
Yeah.
So
Loud America is another big one, which is across from.
I want to find a bar that's not trying to rate me. So you got any of those for us, Steve? Get out of Sturgis.
That little burger place, Mike.
So off the beaten path, I did a list of some other bars that I don't hear being mentioned much. And the Back Porch in Spearfish. I know that they're very biker friendly.
Is that the one in Spearfish? Okay, I'm thinking Lead. There's one right there on the south side of Lead that has burgers. That's what she's talking about.
Chuck's or something like that?
I don't know. You want me to pull up Google Maps and dive in?
Oh shit. Louis.
Okay.
Yeah, Louis. And I think I heard somebody said they sold that. So I don't know what's going on.
Really?
There. Yeah. Now, a couple more miles up the road there, 85 is the Boar's Nest, which is kick ass.
Yes.
Cool.
We've never been there. We've seen it.
Hey!
Firecracker got her list out. I had to come on. I was interested.
We're talking
being serious. She had a list by her bed. I'm like, I got to get on for this. I want to hear what she has to say. Like,
so she's got concert. Look at that, 2 sheets of paper.
I love the organization. I'm serious.
You put more effort in it.
Have you nailed down what day you're leaving yet, Monkey?
The wife leaves on the 9th, and I feel like I'm going to leave on the 10th. because if I leave on the 10th, I can go to Pierre, even though it's spelled Pierre, South Dakota, to my buddy's bar, the Grey Goose.
Yeah.
And Jasmine Kane is playing that night in Pierre, and it'll be a smaller show. And we did this last year, but it was pre-rally. And they closed when they closed the bar. They locked us in the bar, and Jasmine and her band and me and my buddy just drank, just grabbing bottles. I have never spent the night in a bar before. And at like 3:30 in the morning, when we couldn't stand anymore, he unlocked the gates. We stumbled out into our RVs and just like passed out in the parking lot. And then the next morning, I just dumped my gray tanks in his parking lot and pulled out. It was awesome. It was so much fun. But this year,
and you're thinking you're going back to that bar again this year.
That's all. He's like, you son of a bitch, I could have showed you where to dump your gray tanks at. I'm like, right where I was fine.
Hey, wait, if you're catching it on the way home, it might be black tanks. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it's so that's going to happen this year. That same party is on the 10th when the rally's mostly over, and I need to be home by that Monday, the 14th.
Right.
So I could still do that, and then still have 4 days to get home without having to like try and kill myself every day.
So we've got Sunday through Wednesday night to try and be a pain in your ass and get drunk and hang out.
Oh yeah, but that's welcome.
Yeah.
Like that's yeah.
Yeah.
So our schedule so far, none of this is set in stone.
Yeah.
If you give a shit. Is so Sunday, right? The 6th is the custom bike show at the Iron Horse.
That's we probably won't. Show. Yeah, I know about that, and we probably will not get in town in time because that's in the afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, that's at like noon or something like that.
Yeah, we won't get there till about 5.
That night is Leonard Skinnard.
Yes, that's on our list.
So so that night I believe will be at the ship for Leonard Skinnard. Monday the 7th is the Old School Chopper show at the Full Throttle Saloon. And that's a good show. All the like Billy Lane will be there. Everyone who's anybody, Paul Yaffe and all them will be there.
So that message on Instagram, somebody said he's doing a show at Sturgis.
He's doing an ice cream social.
I know.
You know what I think it is? I think that he and Cycle Source are really tight. And so just everything they're doing, they kind of, I don't know this. It's just an assumption, but
right.
But yeah, they
well,
I feel like they're very tight. So
yeah, I hadn't seen a post about anything at Sturgis other than ice cream social.
Yeah, his big show is the one that we all know. And then if he's doing that one there, that's cool. That makes sense. And then he also does a big thing at Smokeout.
Right.
I'm digging deep here because I'm like does a big thing at Smokeout.
Well, and we can't get in too much trouble because it is on the internet.
Yeah, and then everything on the internet's true. And then I guess if he's doing that you sent me, that'd be sweet. That'd be cool. But there's nothing official by him at Sturgis. But he's so close with Cycle Source, it kind of is all the same thing. You know what I mean?
Probably helping or hanging out with them doing the show.
Yeah. But but he does do an ice cream social during Sturgis.
Yeah, I put it on my calendar.
Yeah.
Free ice cream. It's on my calendar, man. First 50 get free ice cream bought by him.
Now, I might have something pretty cool that neither of you guys are real privy to.
I guarantee it because I am literally privy to nothing.
On August 11th at Chopper Flats, which is a little campground out in the middle of nothing, just about 4 miles north of Full Throttle Saloon, Sugar Bear, he either owns it or that's his place.
Really?
On August 11th, he's having a Longfellow's Chopper show.
Wow.
I would give my left nut to meet that guy.
No kidding. I didn't think he traveled still because
I
mean, I don't know him personally, but the dude's he's been around a long time. Like, I'm just going to shut up because someday I'm going to bump into that guy and goes, "You called me fucking old one night." I'm like, I just know that you made badass parts in the 70s, dude. Yes. Do the math.
Yeah, because I asked her, I said, now, is he going to be there? And she goes, he should most likely be there on the 11th for that show.
I'll be gone. I just don't have time. Even if I don't do the thing in Pier and I just roll out of Sturgis on the 11th, I still got to be like, leave the morning of the 11th and do 4 hard days to get home,
Yeah, that's in the wrong direction for you.
Yeah. That and you'll all love this. One of the reasons I've been kind of quiet the last 4 or 5 days on YouTube is getting ready for Sturgis. The motor's burned out on the slide on my RV.
Oh,
so I've spent the last 3 days trying to fix it myself before I realized I need to call a real man to come and actually do this. And he came out today, and it's so depressing to see someone in 10 minutes diagnose the problem, pull the part out, and order a new one. Like, we're literally maybe 12 minutes before the new motors were on the way. And I was like, damn it. Like,
you could have spent those 3 days making videos and covered the cost.
Yeah, I'm probably no, it wouldn't have covered the cost.
Well, yeah,
no,
YouTube doesn't pay that well, but
no, I'm thinking I'm at 800 by the time it's done.
well,
So, not that I just gave away how profitable YouTube is, but multiple videos is not $800.
yeah. Everybody thinks everybody gets upset if you get something for free because they think you're getting rich on this deal and you're getting free shit and
Yeah.
For the longest time, man, when people talk shit about the Advan Black parts, I'm like, dude, I can't pay my mortgage with tour packs.
right.
So, I mean, it's great. I love the guy to death, and it's fun to be able to play with your motorcycle. But you can't live on parts. Like what,
Right. They don't pay your bills.
No.
And to be honest, a lot of times there's that damned echo.
You're echoing again, brother.
It's weird.
I just muted her. Now I'm not echoing. See how that works? She's looking at me like, you fucker.
She's gonna shank you tonight.
Yeah. It's
Well,
something.
Firecracker, I look forward to seeing you at Sturgis. He'll be dead, but that's all right. She's just gonna show up and go, I don't know what happened to that motherfucker. He didn't
When I show up with a black eye, you just pretend you didn't notice.
He was whittling on wood. Next thing I know, it was in his heart. I don't know.
Fell on it.
So,
7 times.
The bad thing is we've got a barbecue this Saturday, and the deck is like raised up a whole story from the ground. So I've got like 10 feet to fall if I'm flipping a burger the wrong way accidentally. Don't know the damnest thing I've ever seen. He just jumped.
She's got murder in her eyes, Dallas.
Wouldn't you?
Audie
with me?
Audie Winter has the best. I'm sorry, I don't mean to I just saw that because personally, this is something that I told the wife every day. How much it pisses me off how poorly run Sturgis is in general.
Competition.
Like there is no one place. You can't. There just doesn't exist.
No.
And the places that are hosting thing, where I finally got what time registration was for the old school chopper show on the Full Throttle. It's not on their website. It's not on anybody. Poppy, Sinister Cycles, I can't remember. On Instagram today, this dude stood up and did a reel saying, I invite you all to the show, registrations from 9 to noon. He gave more information in a 30-second reel than anybody. You can't find the information. It's just not out there.
And
Totally
I think part of it's they see each other as competition, so they don't want everything on one site. They want you to come to their site, see all their stuff they're offering, and they don't want to talk about anybody else.
But that's fine, but they don't even put it on their site.
Right.
Like it's not, you can't. The only people who do it is Cycle Source. Cycle Source magazine puts it in their magazine. They put it on the website. They put it on their social media channel. But that's their shows and their Dennis Kirk shows and all that. Everyone else just doesn't tell you. You might see an Instagram post by this one person, 3 people removed, and that's how you find out when the thing is.
Well, I'll bring up a point. I've been trying to get a hold of someone at the Dime Horseshoe Bar in Sundance. It's right downtown Sundance, and trying to see if they do anything special. I get on their Facebook page, and it's littered. And I recommend everybody go there. It's littered with wet T-shirt contests and burnouts. So there's one of my bars that doesn't get a lot of publicity, but looks like a fucking blast to go to.
Yeah. Did it sell? I think that one sold this year. Somebody, new owner or something. I thought
that might be the bar around the corner, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I just want everybody to know, for the record, in the last 28 days, I've made 22 cents from shorts.
Oh, that is a freaking that's a racket. When YouTube said, "Oh, shorts are monetized now," I had one that I think got watched 50 or 60, 70,000 times. I made $2.49. I mean, it's fun. You do it because it's fun. You don't do it to make the $2.40. Yeah. But don't even say anything about it making money if it's $2.40.
Yeah, you just. I posted a reel the other night and it got 2,000 views. I'm looking for another 22 cents.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
You get a couple of those, you could play a game at the movie theater.
I can't afford the popcorn.
We went to see Indiana Jones. It was $125 for the three of us after tickets and popcorn and soda. And
damn, I could just take the car.
Like, I need to sit and watch this with Harrison Ford for that kind of money.
I think he should be sitting behind you, narrating in your ear and telling you what's going on.
Holding my hand, telling me all about, like
the behind the scenes.
What do I know?
I got another bar for you guys.
Okay.
Now this one, I'm anxious. I've ridden by it, but I didn't stop, and I'm killing myself because I want to go see it. It's the Cowboy Back Bar, or excuse me, the Buffalo Jump Steakhouse in, is it Beulah, Wyoming?
I don't know, but I was questioning the Cowboy Back Bar. Like,
that sounds like a title of a movie.
It's like, I think we all saw that one. What is Heath, whatever?
There were all these dudes out front, and they were all oiled up with baby oil and shit. I don't know what the hell is going on.
It's called the Blue Oyster or something. There were bikers and cowboys and Indians and construction workers.
And there was lots of cops with their shirts off too.
They were so friendly.
they even danced. Little hand gestures and everything.
They were dancing while they were handcuffing guys. I don't get it.
There's a funny story. When we first moved down here, my I'll say it, I don't give a shit. My father lived in Fort Lauderdale, and he decided to go have a drink and listen to live music. And so he just found what looked like a country bar and walks in and sits down. And he's telling this story to my wife's whole family. And he says the name of the bar. And my brother-in-law, my wife's brother, spits his drink out across the bar, like dying laughing because Dad's not the type to hang out. And he said, I sat there and he goes, this guy offered to buy me a drink. And I was like, well, that was awful friendly. And then he goes, on movies how the camera from across the room flies in your face. You're like, oh, like you realize where you are. And Dad was like, oh, I forgot my cigarettes in the bike. And he like,
so
it is nice to know that people care.
It's nice to know you're still sexy to somebody. Like
on these lines, I got a story to tell. I don't tell stories a lot like this, but I lived in Memphis for 2 years. Have anybody been down on Beale Street? Anybody else in this room been on Beale Street?
I never have.
You've been on Bourbon Street. You've been on Bourbon Street, New Orleans?
Oh, yeah.
Same kind of vibe, but small. Same kind of vibe, though. Street performers, all that kind of shit. They built this park and had the concert out there. And I'm muting firecrackers. I'm echoing like crazy while I tell the story. So anyway, my dad and my mom come down to visit. I lived there for like 2 years. They come down to visit one weekend. We went down to Beale Street and got my mom one of these big, tall, foo-foo drinks and shit. And, we're standing in this park listening to music and stuff. And I'm like 5'9" at best, 5'8.5". My dad's 6 foot tall. So he's 3 inches taller than me. Big bearded guy, not, he doesn't look like the kind of guy you would pick up on unless you're into bears.
And not the raw kind. Well, maybe it is the raw kind. Maybe.
So we're listening to the concert, and Mom would make him hold her drink every once in a while, or whatever. She'd drink a drink and then she'd hand it to him to hold just because she didn't want to hold it and stuff. And I don't know if that gave the guy the wrong idea or what, but he gives her the drink and we go to use the pisser, and it's a kind of like a public restroom thing that you walk in, 5 urinals everywhere, and we go in there to piss, and some guy follows him in there, and this guy looks like he just got out of the fucking ER from getting his fucking head bashed in. I mean, he's got stitches everywhere and black eyes. He starts making passes at my dad in the men's room, and my dad turns around. He's like, "You're about to find this to be your final resting place if you fucking walk out of here in the next 20 minutes. You just stay in here and don't come out. Stay the fuck away from me."
There's something about in the men's room that makes it like an extra aggressive act. Like, like I'm standing here holding my junk while you're talking to me like that.
I'm like, yeah, it's, and every once in a while, my dad, watches this. So I'm making a phone call later about telling this story. But, this was in 2001. So it's been over 20 years or something. But I remember, Dad's like, that guy, followed us to the bathroom or something. And he said something to him. And Dad's like, I'm going to put you back in the fucking emergency room. You'll get away from me.
There's my stepdad years ago used to travel for work with his boss, like all the time. And if any of you have ever done that, where you have to travel with the boss, you end up entertaining them the whole time. Like, so he was like, my stepdad wasn't a drinker and his boss was. So his job was to find a place to take him to dinner, find a place to have a drink. I don't know. He says they're sitting at this bar in Detroit, and his boss is having a drink at a bar, and there's like a doorway to another room, and that's where people were dancing. And my stepdad's watching the TV screen going, "Oh, that's closed circuit TV. Oh, okay. So we're watching the dance. There's no women. There are no women in that dance floor." Like, no. And he's like, "Holy shit, I took my boss to a gay bar." he said it took me a few minutes to go like, I go, "Okay, how do I exit the situation? How do I he goes, so I waited for him to finish his drink, and he goes, "I just went, so you want to go on to someplace else?" And the boss went, "Yeah, whatever." So they go out and they get in the rental car, and now they're from Southern Arkansas, right? Searcy, Arkansas. And he said, "I'm driving the rental car to Boston, the passenger seat," and all of a sudden his boss just goes, "It's a bunch of damn queers in there, wasn't it?" It's like, "Yes, sir, it was. I'm sorry."
Sorry about that.
Cousin Ed is here. She's been on the phone. Everybody's going to Sturgis. Everybody's talking every night about this, that, and the other, and making plans and stuff.
Firecracker, you didn't go through your list of what you want to see.
That's because you didn't give me a chance.
We got sidetracked. We got monkeyed.
I'm muted.
We got monkeyed.
Okay, so August 8th is REO Speedwagon and Sticks.
Ooh.
Just saying. You want to see Whiskey Myers on August 9th? Def Leppard is August 10th. August 11th, of course, Buck Cherry and Puddle of Mud, which we talked about that one with everybody.
You've seen Def Leppard, though.
So, August 7th at Kickstands is Creed Fisher from 9 to 11.
Yeah.
He's good.
Yeah. So Jasmine Kane, she didn't know who Jasmine Kane was. I said, I don't know, but Monkey says she's good. That's friend of his. So
well, they also have at Kickstand and Full Throttle some I don't know, them Dirty Roses and stuff like that. That
Texas Hippie Coalition.
Yeah.
By the way,
Jasmine is biker famous. She started as and I say that lovingly, not a knock, of course. She started as a t-shirt girl for the Rat's Hole Bike Show. And the main act just didn't show up one day at Daytona or something, or maybe it was Sturgis years ago. And the boss walks up and says, "Don't you play guitar or something?" And she says, "Yeah." And he goes, "You're on right now until I find." And she was like, I just around with the guitar. And he literally forced her up on stage, and she played Me and Bobby McGee. This is 15, 20, 25 years ago. I don't know how long ago.
Wow.
And she played Me and Bobby McGee, and then played a couple songs, just her and an acoustic guitar. And the boss said, "Find a band. You're headlining in Daytona next week," or that kind of thing. And ever since then, she's been biker famous. So she does all the rallies, and I mean, packs in huge crowds to see her play. She's badass. But She also wrote one of the songs that was one of the theme songs of Sons of Anarchy. Highway Prophet is one of her songs, and that was a Sons of Anarchy song. And then she's got a bunch of original stuff. The wife loves her original stuff, but she also covers Pantera and, you know, hard stuff. So she's really good. And I mean, she's mean as shit, but I like her husband. Her husband's really nice. And
she's playing several times there. I seen that she's at Kickstand. I thought she was at somewhere else too.
Glencoe. She's at Kickstand. Okay. She's at Glencoe and someplace else. I can't remember where else she's playing.
Was she at Full Throttle one night?
I don't think she's at Full Throttle.
I don't remember. There was another place that I looked up.
You can go to JasmineCain.com and she puts all of her. Yeah. She's one of those people who actually puts her frickin' schedule on her website. You can actually see where she's at.
Have you checked our friends from Framing the Red? Because they play at one of the bars at Sturgis a lot.
I didn't see them listed, but I only looked at the campgrounds I knew that we had talked about.
I think they play One Eyed Jacks or somewhere. Framing the Red.
What's the name of the band again, bud?
Framing the Red.
Framing. It might be at the Knuckle.
They play a local bar here 8-10 years ago, and I told them about our biker rally that me and April were involved in. We weren't involved in it at the time, and they played it. And then I had them back twice since then, since I've been working the rally and stuff. But they're really good, and they've got a song called White Trash, Low Life.
No, Low Life.
It's got shit that goes over well in Missouri.
White Trash, Low Life, Born and Raised. I have the T-shirt. Worn it out though.
That's got to be my theme song.
I know this is kind
of. So
they're
at Glen. She's at Glencoe, Kickstands, Grey Goose.
The Grey Goose is the night I was talking about. The end.
You know, though, honestly, even the smaller venues, I've never been disappointed with the bands they get up there.
You can't find a bad, a crappy band isn't going to make it in Sturgis.
No,
you know what I mean? Like
they do their research.
So I knew this on the inside, and I couldn't say anything about it. And we're going to talk about a different rally, Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue. We've gone for a few years, and like last year, we were like, who are these freaking bands? I have no idea who any of these people are. They're not cover bands. They're not anything. And that was kind of a point I made up to someone I know that's on the committee, and they told me a few months ago or weeks ago that they're putting a lot more money into the bands this year. So Blues and Barbecues come out with their official music lineup. Hang on, I'm muting Firecracker again. I gotta figure that echo out. But I know you can't come, Monkey, but I'm going to rub this in case anything sparks your interest and maybe you hop on a plane. If you hop on a plane, I bet if you get there, I bet you I can get you a bike. But Rogers, Arkansas on Thursday night, they're going to have John Conley, Blue Reed. On Friday night in Rogers, they're having Tuesday's Gone, which I'm going to guess that's a Skinner tribute band.
Yeah.
Tom Bryant Band. Saturday, they have Jackal, Chris Durante, and Simply Seeger. Eureka Springs, Arkansas on Thursday is having the George Brothers, which I'm thinking maybe that's a George Thorogood a tribute band, or maybe it's not. I have no idea. I never heard of them. But Ian Moore and the Shotgun Billies, Simply Seeger, Quiet Riot.
Simply Seeger, I guarantee, is a Bob Seger band. That would be badass.
Yeah. Well, and I think this Quiet Riot's like the real Quiet Riot from when, you and I used to, sneak in and look at somebody else's Playboys because we couldn't buy them ourselves. Saturday night, the Tom Bryant Band.
Porn on Cinemax.
And then on Saturday night in Eureka Springs, they have Big Gun AC/DC tribute band. So
that's also, by the way, Framing the Red, your band, they are playing in Pier at the Grey Goose, the place Jasmine is, the next night.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But I don't see him on anything for Sturgis, but that doesn't mean anything. Maybe
they may not have it up yet if they're still trying to work out their deals. I know some of those guys wait till the last minute.
That's the thing. They wait till the last minute. You can't find the bands you want to see. It really kind of sucks. Like they really don't do,
You might check Framing the Red schedule, see if they ever play in Florida, though, because they are out of the South and they travel all over. And if you ever get a chance to see them, they are really good.
Oh, they play Roscoe's Chili Cook-Off. Yeah.
So
that's close to me.
So if you ever get to see them, They may not know me as riding in the Ozarks, but if you tell them the chairman from the Mid-America Freedom Rally, because I booked them twice there, they'll know who I am.
Right on. Yeah, if they play Roscoe's Chili Cook-Off, they're pretty damn good.
Yeah, they're really good. They're a good band. Now, there's more coming for Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue, but I can't say yet because I'm not allowed to spill the beans on a big secret that's coming out.
Yeah.
You know, in Sturgis, another place, Deadwood. I usually stay at the Franklin every year. Not this year, but you know, the city put in that little square.
Harley-Davidson Central or something.
Yeah,
like
and they've
that.
got a stage there, and in 2021, that place was rocking.
What is that called? Stage. It's got like a big Harley bar and shield on it or something like that.
Yeah, the city. And what sucked is because that's where I used to park my motorcycle. It was perfect, but
It was a parking lot. Yeah, it was the best lot in Deadwood. Was where that stage is. Now it's like, you know where we always park? At the very, very end of the street, across the street from the Hampton Inn, there's that little Irish pub.
Yep.
It's for guests only, but there's always space. And if you just say we're going to have a beer at the pub, they don't care. So, and we're walking the whole length of the street anyway. So do I care if the bike's at the end? You know, like
you know where I'm going to park in Deadwood at?
Mm.
Wherever Harley-Davidson tells me to meet him at.
Hey, have either of you guys been to Deadwood Cycles?
Not yet.
No, but they're good people. I want to go this year. They're nice
Go
people.
in there. It's pretty cool. You can actually kind of walk around. There's half of it's a bar, and the other half is their shop, and it's pretty cool. I had a fun time in there.
I had somebody comment on Facebook or YouTube somewhere, some guy named Ed, about us being in Sturgis, and he's like, and I guess he's with Harley-Davidson doing the demo rides or something. He's like, we'll be in Deadwood. Come holler at me. We'll hook you up on a demo ride. And I'm like, I got that one covered. But
I appreciate it. That's the funny thing about rallies when I get a lot of channels, whatever that they go and they want to gravitate toward that, but I'm like, I got a bike and I'm busy and I'm paying for this shit and I don't, you know, like I'm not here to promote your thing. Like I'm here on my vacation, so it's tough, you know. Like
if I'm riding what I think I'm riding that Tuesday, that'll be cool. That'll be cool for me, especially since I missed this last weekend.
I'm sure it is. I'm sure that that's what they'll put you on. So
yeah, so I was. Feel a little twinge that I missed out last weekend when I saw all the posts and everything. But,
I was FOMOing hard. I was just like, you sons of bitches, you know.
Yeah, because we both kind of turned down an opportunity there.
Yeah, well, some of us have to pay taxes so the world will go round. Can you tell I'm snarky and pissy about it? Like,
I love paying taxes.
I like to pay taxes on the same thing year after year when I've already paid taxes on it. That's my favorite.
Yeah, that's the best.
We don't have property tax in Florida, bud. Come down. We don't have personal property tax. We have real estate tax like you wouldn't believe, but you know.
Yeah.
Hey,
my house costs me a new Toyota Camry every year in taxes, basically, is the way I look at it.
On one of your lives, I brought up another bar in St. Onge, O-N-G-E. Have you guys ever heard of that bar in that little town? It's between Bellefouche and Bellefouche and 90, kind of on your way back to Sturgis. It's a little town, and there's a bar there with the same name. And every time I've ridden my motorcycle by that bar, it's packed with bikes. And then I heard that they have they're known for their steaks.
Oh.
So I'm dying to try that place out too.
Before I hopped on, the wife and I were talking about how everyone has their Sturgis traditions.
Yeah.
And you said earlier, like, oh, I go there and it's not that good, but I go anyway because it's my tradition. Like, and we laughed, like both of us burst out laughing because it was like we have our traditions. And normally when we go do Topless Tuesday or whatever, which I don't know that I'll ever do that again, because it's just a cluster these days. But
I've heard it's really blowed up the last couple of years.
It's if you aren't there 4 hours before it actually happens, you're going to be parked in a cow pasture 3.5 miles from the place, and it's going to take you 3 hours to get to get to the cow pasture. Like,
so I was going back and looking at my footage from Sturgis because I recorded it, and this was before I started the channel, but I'd recorded a bunch of stuff because I thought I might use it. And I was doing this video on the rides. It's going to come out in a few days. And I went back and looked, and we pulled in off the highway and pulled up and parked 1 or 2 rows back from the front of the bar while Topless Tuesday was going on 4 years ago.
Yep.
Like nothing.
Not going to happen
there's
today.
a lot of bikes
It
there,
has
but
blown
like it was
up that
nothing.
fast. It really has. It really has. And all the damn all you see is a bunch of people's phones because every pervert in the crowd is trying to record everything.
I think it's probably because I've been wearing that patch on my vest for 4 years because Topless Tuesday, everybody's asked me about it. So they probably should like at least give me a free beer or a better parking.
I would think. Yeah. But it's but anyway, the point of it is when you go to that, every year it's been when you leave there, you got to get back to Deadwood or Sturgis by a certain time for a certain thing. So we've always just been on a mission.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there's no stopping between Alzada and Sturgis. It's like you got to get back for this concert or this thing or this, whatever. The one thing that'll be fun though, and I don't know what your availability is. So the night of the 7th, right? Yeah, the night of the 7th is the Wild Vegas pool party at our campground at the it's public, the pool area. So we're staying at Steel Pony this year. And Steel Pony is the campsites and grounds are all like behind a wall with like security and all this shit. But out in front of that, facing the highway where you're watching all the idiots going to Glencoe and the Buffalo Chip, it's on the corner. It's directly across the street from Glencoe. There's that gas station and what used to be the Beaver Bar. I'm told she didn't renew the lease, so it's just a white tent, I guess, this year.
So you guys are you further out than Full Throttle Saloon? Or are you closer to Sturgis?
Oh, closer to Sturgis.
Okay.
It's where the old Full Throttle Saloon was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're on the main drag. Shit, I can never remember. So where you're running the gauntlet out of Sturgis toward the Buffalo Chip, before you get to the Buffalo Chip on the right, on that stoplight where Glencoe is. Glencoe is left, Steel Pony is right, Buffalo Chip is straight.
Yeah, there's a big gas station there.
Yeah. And there's a white tent that used to be the Beaver Bar. She didn't renew the lease, I'm told, this year, so I don't know what's going on with the big white tent. But anyway, the front section of the Steel Pony is public. The pools are public. The bars are public. There's a camp store there that has everything you need. There's a Vegas style pool party that's being hosted by some famous woman MMA fighter. She's like emceeing it or something. That's the night of the 7th. And then, yeah, that's the biggest thing after you get there at my place. But that'll be a lot of fun. So
we might come over Monday. Tuesday we've got to get up, meet Harley. So as long as we don't get crazy, we'll be okay.
Well, then I wouldn't come because I'm going to force feed booze down your face all night.
Well, how am I going to get home?
That's your problem.
Yeah.
You can ride bitch on the back of my bike.
I'll just get up at sunrise and leave. Sleep on the ground next to the bike.
pool.
Can we pack we're going to have to pack the little air mattress now. Just so we can sleep wherever we get drunk at. We had that bike rally Memorial Day weekend, and then we got up to clean on Monday morning. Yeah, everybody's tearing down, and we go down. We're picking up trash at 7 a.m. And I come up on this dude who's on like a road glide, and his head's laid down against the tank, and he's got his hoodie pulled over his head. That's where he slept all night. He had to somebody had to go over check him for a pulse. And about we're all picking up trash. 20 minutes later, we see him climb off of it and go head over to the CMA booth to get coffee or something. But he literally that's probably where he passed out when the concert ended at 1 a.m. and he just put his head down on his tank and went to sleep. Didn't even try and make it back to camp. And it's not even 13 acres of camping there.
No, that's in Sturgis. You'll end up in the back of a cop car, that kind of crap. And because you were sitting on your bike, you got a DWI. So that's the one thing that I've said in videos a million times, and I'll probably say it again this year or need to, because I think all these dudes, I'll be fine. You won't be fine.
No.
Not in Sturgis. Like, they pull you over for no reason in Sturgis. Like, they'll just pull you over and go, you seem like you're not drunk. Like, they'll literally just walk up. They'll lie and say you were doing 2 over and just sniff you and go, all right. And that's they just pull by. You'll see a row of cop cars just pulling bikes left and right.
Yeah, we've seen some of that, and that's what I said. If I gotta get us back to the house, I'm not gonna drink. She can sit on the back and get as drunk as she wants.
Right.
You can force feed her drinks, and I'll run the camera.
There you go.
That's trouble.
What?
That's trouble. That's too much. No.
I'll bring a roll of duct tape so we can just wrap her to the safety bar.
I got 2 bungee cords in the tour pack.
I've
I
never
need them.
I've never been that bad, but it's bad if I get drunk. I get in trouble. I get myself in trouble.
Hold it. You said there's an MMA fighter MC in this thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can see where this is going already. Did you think you're bad?
No.
No, the crazy thing is, this is what I was telling the wife. We went to Glencoe last year. We took the bus to Glencoe and then walked the rest of the way. Well, it's a freaking half mile from the gates to the alley where you want to go. And then you walk around and you're damn crippled the next morning because you've walked 19 miles that night. So this year I'm like, we're going to ride. I'll ride the chopper. My chopper is like a freaking go-kart as far as like being tiny and throw it around. And she's like, yeah, but we have drinks. I go, babe, you understand? Glencoe is straight across from Steel Pony. Like literally, if I got pulled over going from Glencoe to Steel Pony, it would be impressive. Like I would, like what I did was glorious.
You know what you could
literally
do?
like you pull out the red light and you just go across the street. Like,
Hold it. Does the chopper have a key?
It does have a key.
Okay, so you put it in neutral and you push it across the highway and she holds
just
the key.
roll.
You roll it across the highway and you make her carry the key so you don't even have the key on you. I got you, bro.
The chip is up the street, but the cops always sit between Sturgis and the Steel Pony and Glencoe. They don't actually typically sit anywhere past that light because the next is the Buffalo Chip and you're there. So they typically stay over here. So I kind of figure we can go to the Chip and back to the Steel Pony without a whole lot of issue, you know.
We've got a friend who's staying at the same campground as you, but he doesn't get to town till the 8th. Is that when he's coming in, April?
I thought it was the 9th.
Okay, but yeah, we got a buddy who's coming in like.
Oh, he's not coming in until the 9th? Okay.
Yeah, he's not coming in until midweek. He's probably getting your campsite when you pull out.
Right. My buddy, he has a cabin, but he booked it too late or something went goofy. So he's like, we had to figure out where we're going to stay the first couple days we're there. I'm like, tent. So he's going to tent at the I go, you already have to buy a pass for the rally, so why would you buy anything else? Like, so they're going to tent the first few days and then move into their cabin, I think on the 4th or 5th or something like that. I don't know. But.
Well, Firecracker, write down Monday night, pool party, monkeys getting you drunk, and I'm recording.
You write it down.
You got the notes. If I write it down, it's not going to be on your notes.
You haven't agreed to do any of my notes, so you've got the schedule, not me.
She's talking like I actually have a choice.
Yeah, you do. Because you got to drive me there. Because
you got your own 2 wheels.
My bike's staying parked because I'm going to drink.
Where are you staying again, Mike?
We are on actually just outside of Leeds. We got to go all the way from Sturgis back to Leeds.
That's a haul.
Yeah. So I will stay sober to drive us. But you can get her drunk and I'll record it and it'll make for a great video.
There you go.
Now you could go into Deadwood to the Franklin and pick up the bus from there and at least get you down to Sturgis from there. That'd give you time to sober up, maybe even grab a coffee in Deadwood somewhere and then head on back up to Leeds.
Well, the bus goes to Glencoe, which is actually goes to the swamp, and the swamp is just a shed directly across the street from the Steel Pony. I mean, we're talking a 4-lane road walk across, like there's nothing to it. So you could
I pick up a bus in Deadwood at the Franklin.
Yeah.
Whose bus is this? How do I find it?
The bus. DABUS.
What's the
And
bus
they
cost?
usually have a couple little gals in there serving you some drinks.
And you can drink on the bus. Like they have cheap beer and stuff. Yeah.
So I'm wondering if they've got a pass that I can buy.
They do. It's worth it. What is it, $50 or something?
Yeah.
It's like it's worth every penny. And you take the
59
bus from the Franklin to the swamp and the swamp is their main depot, and their main depot is across the street from my campground.
So
How late do they run?
They run till I think midnight.
Well,
Hold
that was
up.
later.
hang on, we're gonna present share a screen.
So the last time I took the bus, the driver, all she had on was tennis shoes. And then her lesbian wife was the bartender who had just tennis shoes on. And I'm telling you what, that was a hell of a ride.
So here's departure times.
Here's the Sturgis motorcycle rally.
1:30 a.m.
1:30. Cool.
That's during St. Pat's there, Mike, that you've got. You got to go down to right there.
And, and make sure, because, they do all kinds of routes. So make sure whatever time it is the one that gets you back to Deadwood.
Yeah. That's my only thing.
There's the rally right there. Go back up.
Oh, no, the last 83rd
Annual
bus
Sturgis.
from Sturgis to Deadwood is 1 a.m.
Okay, it's 1.
So where
I got
am I
another
missing
funny
that
story
at?
about that.
Where am I missing that at? Where am I seeing that or not seeing
I went to the 2023 rally routes, and now the flyer is out of date and says 2022, but I guarantee it's the same. They just haven't updated the graphic. But it says 2023 rally routes.
So $79.95 all week long, and they will pick us up in Deadwood and take us to Sturgis and then bring us back.
They'll take you wherever you want. You just go to the depot and switch buses and stuff.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
You can go from Deadwood to the Full Throttle. You can go to Deadwood to the Buffalo Chip. You can go, you know what I mean? Like, you can go anywhere on the bus.
Yeah.
Well, what do you think for $160? That's a lot cheaper than a DWI.
Yep.
Yeah.
Ain't it, though? So it looks like you would take the Deadwood bus to 4th and Sherman and then take what does it look like? The red route to the Stump. The Stump is the place across the street from my campground.
Okay, so here.
You've got it on the screen. I'm looking at my own tab, and you've got it up on the damn screen right now.
Right here where I got the mouse moving is the Stump, right?
That's across the street from my campground.
Okay, so we'll take, and somewhere over here is Deadwood.
The purple one. Purple's Deadwood.
There. So we'll take Deadwood to 4th and Sherman, then we'll hop on the red bus route and take that to there or to the Buffalo Chip or back or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Now
it's
something.
It's a lot cheaper than a $10,000 DWI.
And picture something it's 1
Getting
o'clock.
my credit card out after the show.
It's 1 o'clock in the morning, and you're getting on a bus with about 50 other drunk ass people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to have a camera.
Do I need to add any more explanation on how that bus ride usually ends up?
You would probably need to leave my campground at midnight. You got to get back to 4th and Sherman to get the Deadwood bus, right?
Yeah.
So your bus runs, the shuttle bus there runs every 20 minutes. And we got to catch the purple bus, Sturgis to Deadwood. Last bus is 1 a.m. So we got it. Yeah. If we leave yours by 12, we'll be back to hit that 1 a.m. bus. We'll be back to Deadwood. And by the time we ride all those buses, we'll be okay to get from Deadwood back to the house. Because I'm still not going to get crazy. I'm just going to, that gives me some time.
But yeah, you could also use it to get to the Buffalo Chip. You can use it to get, you know what I mean, all over the place. So, yeah.
Well, I guess
I prefer
$160. Thank you guys very much.
Oh, sorry. I'll shut up.
No, I'm just saying we're going to spend $160. Thank you guys very much. That's a lot cheaper than DWI. And it'll be more fun than me staying sober the whole time, not being afraid to drink. Because I've seen what you're talking about in Sturgis where they're literally, you didn't put your foot down. Oh, those don't look like those are safety glasses. Whatever excuse they can find.
Does anybody want to know how I got arrested in 2017?
Very much so.
So this is back when Mr. Bates drank a lot. And I'm at the One-Eyed Jack's, and I'm definitely in a very happy spot. But being a 50-year-old man, I got to pee, right? So I'm behind the bar, and I see a garage. And I'm thinking, perfect. So I go over, pull out the monster. All of a sudden, 2 cops are like, really? They're standing like 10 feet from me, but I can't see them because my eyes haven't adjusted to the darkness outside. And then, so they arrest me, and he goes, you're going to be pissed. And I go, why? He goes, because when we get around this garage, there's like 10 banks of fucking Johnny on the spots. I go, come on.
Why didn't you just tell me to put it away and go over there?
I know.
Well, here the thing is that I think that at every motorcycle rally I've ever been to, Sturgis is the one where they're most likely that the cops will say, dude, put it away, go around the corner. Like, they seem like the one, in my experience, they don't want to arrest you.
Right.
It seems like they want to really go like, hey, man, don't do the thing you're about to do, you know? Whereas like Daytona, they're like, watch, like, oh, please, I hope he goes so I can arrest him. Like, so I don't know. That sucks. Yeah, I thought you were going to say you were pissing on the police station and didn't realize it or something. That would be great.
Well, and as you know, from when I jacks, the police station's like 50 feet away. Mm-hmm. It's right across the fucking street. So I'm like, God damn it.
Yeah, we had friends of mine at Mardi Gras in St. Louis. Mike knows all about St. Louis Mardi Gras. It used to be wilder than it is, from what I understand, but it used to be like New Orleans had nothing on the St. Louis Mardi Gras years ago. And same thing. Me and a couple of buddies had to. It was 20 below zero, and you would get wasted to deal with the cold. Like, that was a strategy, right? So we're just pounding booze, and then like, oh, we got to go. So we just go down an alleyway of an old abandoned building in Soulard and piss on a wall. And I finish and put it away and walk out of the alleyway, and literally cops walk up to me, but I had finished. And they went around and busted my 2 friends, charged them with like indecent exposure. They had to pay to not go on the sex offenders list for peeing on a brick wall. Like it like there was no one around, and they were going to be on the list if they didn't pay $12,000 a piece or something. And
I'm in the paddy wagon. And I'm laughing. I'm cheering because it's my first year to Sturgis, and I got a ticket. I mean, I've got it framed in my bedroom. I'm proud of it. But until he goes, don't worry, you're not going to go on the sex offender list. I go, I better not.
No, they consider
it got real.
Offense. Yeah.
All right. So on the wristband here, I want your guys' advice here, because
he's excited.
I'm getting ready to purchase. I'm gonna whip my credit card out, and no, I'm not sharing it with you fuckers, because I'll be buying all kinds of.
He's gonna whip it out.
He's gonna whip it out on camera.
They have a 10.
Back to the OnlyFans videos.
You're still not going to be able to see it, even if I whip it out on camera. That's not a telephoto lens. So 10 drink ticket package, $40, just $4 per drink. Rally pricing is $5 to $7 per drink on the bus. What do you think the chances are I can get her on a bus and she's not going to say, I want a drink?
Here's my professional medical opinion. We bought the wristbands one year, and you had to go to a place to get them. And I couldn't figure it out, and it pisses me off, and I'm lazy in that sense. And if it takes any of my time, then I won't do it. And so I ended up paying per ride and never even claimed the wristbands I had paid for. So we have ridden the hell out of the buses over the years, and I've always just paid per ride, because I'm just like,
me too.
It's just, I am all about convenience on my vacation. And if I have to go to a special place to retrieve my wristband, and that place is over here, and it's going to take me an hour of my night to go to that place to get it, I'll just pay $5 a ride. It's like, isn't it like $5 a ride, Steve?
Well, that's what I was going to ask.
On the bus?
Yeah.
No, it's more than that, I think.
Is it? I don't know. And also my preference is the Jones bus. I think the Jones bus is more fun. So there's competitors, Mike. There's the bus and there's the Jones bus, Jonez. Jones buses are crazy. Jones buses are like, I think they're filming pornos in those things while they're driving you from place to place. Like
that's how the bus has been for me too. I mean,
Jones bus also feels like the wheel's gonna fall off. Like they're like spray painted up old school buses that
Well, I've got this naked chick driving my bus, right? All she's got is tennis shoes on. I look at her and I go, "What are your credentials?"
38 double D, baby.
She was gonna say, I got my 38 double D license. What are you talking about? Now, also,
We're gonna die.
and I can tell you right now that the bus drivers are incorruptible as far as route goes, though. The Jones bus drivers, I have bribed to take me exactly where I want to go. And they will drop you off right out front of the bar you want to go to, the restaurant, for the right amount of money. They'll take you right to the door. Like,
So,
But I would not buy the drink tickets, Mike.
yeah.
There might be a night where you say, you know what, I'm pooped a little bit. I don't think we're going to roll.
it's
And I
not
would
me
buy
I'm
the
worried
tickets.
about. She's going to hit me up for a $7 drink instead of a $4
They're
ticket.
not. I swear
I've
they're
seen
like
her
$2 a
drink.
beer on the bus. I feel like they're cheap.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I only remember beer being on the bus, no liquor.
Yeah.
Okay.
What if I sneak my own on?
Oh, bring a flask.
You won't have any trouble.
We've got flask. Crown Royal, baby.
Yeah, just bring your flasks.
You bring
That's-
your Crown Royal. I'll bring my old Smoky.
Remember, Mike Bodine gave me a flask at the Freedom Rally. He brought me one.
He doesn't drink.
go.
What's he doing
I
with the
know.
flask?
He gave
wonder
it to me. He won it somewhere and he brought it for me.
Well, now we're going to
Yeah,
have to
Rod
off.
says
He's
beer
giving
only.
my-
I only remember beer. I remember them
Hey,
being
that's all
ice
I
cold
remember.
and perfect. but
Monkey, have you met Rod yet?
I don't
This guy?
think so.
Well, I'm going to guarantee you that when you meet him, he's going to tell you it's his fucking birthday. It doesn't matter what time of year it is. It's Rod's birthday.
I will sing to him
Okay, what he's going to hope for
every
is
time.
what he's going to hope is you're going to buy him a drink for his birthday.
Oh, yeah.
That's fine, but I'm going to sing to him like Marilyn Monroe. Every time I'm going to do the Marilyn Monroe happy birthday for him.
We met Rod at Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue on a poker run, and he did this run with us. And we get to a bar, and he's like, "Rumor has it it's Rod's birthday." I'm like, "Well, hell, let me buy you a drink for your birthday." Okay. We run into him at like Spring Fling or Bike Fest. He's like, "Rumor has it it's Rod's birthday." I'm like, "Hold it, motherfucker! I wasn't drunk. When's your birthday?" Yeah,
How many
well,
birthdays you have a year?
yeah, every time he runs in, so he'll just say, "Rumor has it it's Rod's birthday." He won't say it's his birthday. He'll say, "Rumor has it." So he's not straight out lying to you.
My dad has a buddy they call the Boomerang because he'll get all wasted and they'll put him in a cab or an Uber home. That some bitch will show back up at the bar 45 minutes later.
Now, I don't want to give you.
Uber home and then drive back to the bar in another car and have two cars at the bar.
Now, I don't want to give you the wrong impression. Rod's a good guy. He's a lot of fun to hang out with. He has bought us drinks and everything else. He's not just out using everybody. It's just funny. It's his gag joke thing. Rumor has it it's Rod's birthday, and people start buying him drinks. And I'm like, rumor has it it's Mike's birthday.
Oh well, it's actually my birthday during the rally.
It is Mike's too.
Oh,
The
The
12th. Mine's the
on
12th.
the 5th.
We're a week apart.
Right.
So you won't be there for mine, and I won't be there for yours.
No, but I
This
think
is
we can meet
bullshit.
somewhere in the middle of the week and like make up for it. We'll have to celebrate our birthdays together, not on our birthdays.
Wagonator just said the Jones bus had $2 beers and 21 and $5 rides. That's right. I could swear it was like $5. But then again, if you tip them the right amount, they will drop you off right exactly where you want to go.
Now,
And everyone else
Wagonator,
on the bus is like, why the hell are we at McDonald's?
Wagonators are friends of ours. I consider them friends. They knew me from YouTube and met us at the local Harley dealer, and they came to the camp out we did here a few months ago and stuff, and really cool. But I gotta ask, is that Jerry or is that Patty who's on the, or are they doing this together tonight?
Probably Jerry, because she doesn't drink beer. I don't think, does she?
I don't know. She's Canadian. Like that matters.
You know,
but-
she's nice.
She rides
got
an
to think-
Indian too.
I got.
I know how you like to hear that.
No.
But her husband rides a Harley.
Okay.
I got to think about the bus. I believe it's $25 a day, but then it's unlimited. You can use it as many times as you want.
I figure we're only going to use it 2 or 3 times. We're probably only going to go where we're drinking and hanging out 2 or 3 concerts.
So you might not spend $80 buying individual tickets. Like it might be cheaper to not.
Well, yeah, the early pass on the bus is $60. So,
well,
if it's
bad.
20
like you
bucks,
got to go to the place to get the band. That's the thing where I go, that ain't, it's too much effort.
well, we'll just pay as we go, and then we'll learn our lesson one way or the other.
Yeah, I could be wrong.
We
Absolutely.
try,
Oh, it's Jerry and Patty together. So Jerry drinks and Patty doesn't. So if it's a really nice comment, it's from Patty, and if it's about drinking, it's from Jerry. They're great
It says
people.
buy now and pick up at your campground. So you already know you're not at a campground, so you're gonna have to go someplace else to get the damn thing. Like, if your campground or hotel is on our route but not on our list, you must pick up your pre-order wristbands at selected bus main hub on Highway 34, which is the stump. That's or swamp or whatever else.
So we'd have to go into Sturgis to get our wristband before we could get on it at Deadwood.
Something like that. Or probably pay to get on it at Deadwood and then pick up the wristband and at the stump or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah.
What we did, Mike, in Deadwood, we would the bus would be there. We would pay our $25 or whatever it was, and then they would give us a band.
Okay.
And then we could go anywhere we wanted after we paid the fee.
Hell, Sparky's in Fort Lauderdale. He grew up near Alton and still has family in St. Louis. Dude, I'm in Palm Beach and from St. Louis. We're only an hour apart. Arcana Kings.
I used to, Monkey, I used to work for Auto Club of Missouri, and I would have to go there for training. And that's why I learned so much about Brooklyn, Illinois.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what it was.
That's what it was.
That's
If
what
you're
the
going to
real
sit there and
training
lie
happened.
and tell me the trainings were in Brooklyn, Illinois, I'm going to know you're full of shit. There ain't nothing in Brooklyn, Illinois, but a couple trailers, massage parlors, and some BD.
Yes.
That's what's in Brooklyn. Well, Mike, is it still like that though? What's Brooklyn like now? I haven't been there in 15 years. So
Yeah, it's been a long time for me.
Yeah, I haven't been there in quite a while. Now, did you ever do, or do you know about the cabaret run?
yeah, the organization Shall Not Be Named used to be that.
Okay, well, I know there's several clubs involved because some of the clubs I follow and know advertise it and stuff. And I didn't get to do the cabaret run, but they still do that. But I haven't been to Brooklyn, East St. Louis in probably 15 years.
Yeah,
Firecracker might have been since I have been. She went through a spell when she got divorced, and some people that she ran with, I think they may have gotten thrown out of one.
So that run used to be the organization that Shall Not Be Named run. And it went to 5 clubs because the CEO of PTs was a patch member.
Oh,
Right.
And so we would make $25,000. We'd make basically the year's budget in one day off that one poker run. But we had to work it. So we were the card drawer, security, route, the whole thing. But that, again, was 16, 17, 18 years ago was the last time that I was on it, and then moved to Florida and transferred down to the chapter down here.
Sparky
yeah,
says he got blocked.
But I think that I tried to reach out on a local message and was blocked. I didn't block him. I don't block people. But yeah, so I don't. I know that run is not affiliated anymore because somebody finally said, like, does that seem like an appropriate connection? And
just trying to help the kids.
Absolutely, if it makes us money to fund all the good things we do.
No.
It's funny though. That's the way bikers are. Like, let's find the biker way to raise money, and it was phenomenal. It was the highlight of our year. Let's just wait till you see Diamond Cabaret with the lights on at 7:30 in the morning. That is a haunting sight. Like
Firecracker, which one did you get thrown out of?
What?
Which club in East St. Louis
Oh.
did you get thrown out of?
It was a little bitty Miss Kitty's.
That was probably in Brooklyn.
yeah, that's Brooklyn, but that's not the PT's company. That's a different company.
No, it was a little bitty one. I wouldn't even sit on the seats. It was not Not nice.
Well, I did.
I had hand sanitizer and was squirting it on our hands. It was gross.
Has anybody seen the shower show there?
Oh, who has? Mike, put your hand up, you lying son of a. Put your hand up right now. You become a man in St. Louis by going to the shower show in Brooklyn. Like that, you know.
So there's a gentleman's club at Lake of the Ozarks, if you didn't know. And
The Holy Rollers used to run the Lake of the Ozarks. I'm shocked that there's one there now.
well, there's two there now.
There's three.
Oh, okay.
There's one on a gravel road, remember?
I'm surprised the church allows it.
Listen to the expert here.
Jesus.
But there's one right there at the top of the strip called the Gentleman's Club. And I don't know if I've told this story before. I'm not sure if I told it in front of Firecracker or not. But we went up there for a buddy's bachelor party, and they have like two big round tables with, 20 guys can fit around this round table, and the girls come out and dance on the round tables. And I was sitting at one round table, and my buddy's like, come here. I mean, he's having a fucking cow. I thought he was having a freaking conniption or something. So I go over there. I'm like, what? And he goes, look up. I'm like, oh, yeah, I dated her in high school. And she looks down and slowly realizes that like half of the table is all from her hometown.
Oh,
Hey, Father Tom.
that's awesome.
Yeah. So
Bishop Jones.
needless to say, for some reason that was her last dance of the night. She never came back out after that.
So there's a story when the missus was in law school. There was a gala black tie event every year, and after that ended, so it's all these lawyers and judges and these people from whatever, that at the end of the night they would all go to this high-end strip club. And we only went to this one time, and they were like, we're gonna go, everyone goes, it's a tradition, we're all going, you want to go? And we're like, all right, we'll go, whatever. So we go to this thing, we park the car, we walk in, and all it is ball gowns and tuxedos from the it's called I'm not gonna say the name, she might kill me, but it's a lawyers event in South Florida. And the Christian Law Society had bought out bottle service in the middle of this place. So she's laughing, going, that's like the church people that they bought bottle service and private VIP at this thing. Like, of course they did,
So in that 2 years that I lived in Memphis, the only time I went to a strip club down there was a company function again. Kind of like you said, all these regional managers came in from across the South. We're talking, Atlanta, Texas, Georgia, another city in Georgia, West Virginia, Memphis, Nashville, Tennessee. So like 8 managers come in. They have this business managers meeting and everything else. And I had to sit in on it, even though I wasn't a regional manager, I was an IT manager. And we get done. They're like, okay, which strip club we going to? Well, Mike, you live here. Where's the strip club? Where's the good ones? I'm like, I've lived here 6 months. Okay, Google. Okay, this one looks like it's decent. So we go there. And I mean, these are half of them are gals, they don't care. They're like, it's like the thing to do after a big business meeting when the managers come down, we all go to the strip club.
Yeah, it's crazy how that's a normal thing. Now here's a fun fact.
I thought it was for just rednecks, like, that, hey, let's all get in a van drunk and ride to St. Louis and go to East St. Louis and hang out for 2 hours and spend all our money. But then you get there and there's all these suits.
Yeah. There's a hidden strip club in Sturgis.
I do know.
Oh, I bet you did. You know all those routes. I'm sure you know about it.
I don't know about it yet.
It's on Lozelle, isn't it?
It is.
It's the upstairs of Side Hacks.
Yes.
There's a bar named Side Hacks, which to the left of it has a big open, like covered area for live bands and stuff. And to the right is a bar named Side Hacks. There's a metal staircase that goes up the side of Side Hacks to an upstairs strip club called Gunners. And Gunners is Side Hacks strip club. It's the size of my house. It's not big. It's a small, but it is the only, and it's a pasty bar, actually. They wear pasties. At least they used to, right, Steve? They still wear pasties, right?
I haven't been there. I've been trying to go.
It's always fun.
But I did call, and they did confirm that, yes, it is a gentleman's club. Now, also, I believe the upstairs of One-Eyed Jack's has kind of turned that area into a.
Yeah, but they wear like bikini tops and stuff. That's like go-go dancing is upstairs.
I thought I saw a video where they got a little more risque
Really?
than that.
But Gunners above Side Hacks is a fun, legitimate strip club for the rally, and the dancers come in from L.A., Chicago, New York, like. So there's not all of them. Some of them are local. They kind of look like me, a couple of them, but a lot of them are like, you know.
I'm guessing Rod is saying yes to you guys, so he's confirming.
Yeah, that's always fun. Like we always like to go to that place actually.
And that's the only gentleman's club that I'm aware of in that entire region.
There's one in Box Elder by Rapid City, and my wife affectionately refers to it as C-section Sally's.
That's right, because you tell the story about getting pulled over by the highway patrolman.
I almost got locked up that night coming out of C-section Sally's. They accused my wife of being a prostitute, accused me of stealing the car. It was a South Dakota state trooper, so I'm not sure. He was 12. So I'm not sure how. I mean, literally, pimple-faced high school kid.
He was just pissed that you got in, and he still can't get in.
His ID wouldn't get him in.
He lied and said that I ran a stop sign. I'm like, the parking lot, like, is off the highway. They don't put stop signs at parking lots. Like, you turn right out of the parking lot onto the highway, right? I turn right, immediately, lights come on, and a state trooper takes me back to his car, asks me whose car that is. I'm like, well, I just gave you a Florida license and it has a Florida plate. So, I mean, I'm not a detective or anything, but I would feel like that, And then I'm like, and also, can't
so you were very compliant, is what you're saying.
And then who's that woman? My wife. How long have you known her? I'm like, forever. I'm like, wait a minute. Are you thinking I picked up a hooker? Like,
go tell her that. See how that goes.
Yeah.
So we're keep going. And then he asked me at my highest educational attainment, like just weird questions. And then I said, look, I'm going to need to text my wife to tell her everything's okay because she's assistant attorney general where I live. And this is weird. And he just goes, oh, well, and he starts like backpedaling. I was like, I'm sorry, man. This is out of line. Like, this is strange. And he gave me a written warning for a stop sign that isn't there. But whatever.
I don't have the assistant attorney thing, but I do have this thing like, if you're going to write me a ticket, we're going to both have to talk to the director of the Department of Public Safety. I haven't played that card yet, but I'm waiting because I will play it.
We're going to go to the Supreme Court with this one.
Well, we won't. Neither one of us will have a choice.
My favorite is my buddy Sixpack that I've known forever. His wife. The best line I ever heard. She got pulled over for speeding, and she was doing like 100 miles an hour when she got pulled over. And one of those, what is the comedian who said probably didn't even remove the cigarette from her mouth before she told the cop to kiss her ass, like that kind of. And she was like, "Look, you get to either write me a ticket or give me a lecture. You don't get both." So he pulls out the ticket book. She's like, "All right, that's fine, but you ain't gonna sit here and talk shit at me while you're like."
I got a good friend that's the driver's education director of this town, and him and his buddy that worked for him were zipping along a road, and they were going like 20 over the speed limit, and they get pulled over. And my buddy goes, "Shut up, don't say a word, let me do all the talking." So the cop gets up there. He goes, "You guys were doing 20 miles over the speed limit." He goes, "Officer, here's my name. I'm the director of the driver's education program here. We have to do these types of tests to make sure the car is safe." And the cop just sat there and like, "Dude, I don't believe a word of that, but I'm going to let you go. Just slow it down."
My dad's buddy, I won't say his name, but so when Harley-Davidson coffee came out 30 years ago, used to come in a can that said heavy coffee, look like an oil can. He was the coffee roaster that did this. This super wealthy guy to St. Louis. Great dude. Always had a line, could talk anybody about anything. He talked Harley into selling his coffee, like as Harley coffee. He blasted from St. Louis down to a rally in southern Missouri. I can't remember where it was. What's the big one down off 67? That is it even happening anymore?
You talking down around SEMO?
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
it was a club. It was a club deal.
Yeah.
wasn't it? And it
was wild.
it got resurrected a year or two ago, but I don't know if it took off.
So he got in his ZR1 convertible Corvette and blasted from St. Louis down to SEMO, got wasted with all of his friends, then got on that ZR1. It was going 125 mile an hour back to St. Louis and got pulled over. And Bill, we'll say his name was Bill. Cop walks up to a car and he's just hammered, looks at her and goes, "How you doing?" She goes, "Do you know why I pulled you over? You were going 100 and whatever miles an hour." And he goes, "Oh, officer, don't you know when I've been drinking, I'm invisible?" and the officer was a lady cop. She busted out laughing and said, "If I hadn't called for backup, I'd let you go." That's how funny that was. But they're already right there. And like the lights were, but to him, the price of it, whatever was nothing,
Are you touching that mic again?
No.
Something keeps.
Are you
dinging.
touching it again?
Stop touching it on
Don't
camera.
touch it on.
without being
Don't
paid
touch it
for
while we're on the air.
Have some self-control, for God's sakes.
So I think the run you're talking about is SEMO. Run what you brung.
It was SEMO. Yeah.
And that's down around Doe Run.
Yeah, he did a turn and burn that day just to say hi to everybody and ended up in trouble.
Well, speaking
Hey,
of
Bill.
Harley-Davidson coffee, somebody picked up a 12-pack of Harley-Davidson Budweiser beer cans in Kansas so we could haul them back because we didn't know if they were going to sell them here. We hadn't seen them yet. So she's like, we're
I
buying
have
them.
I have
So-
a case in my garage of it.
We bought a 12-pack in Kansas and brought it home. Hi,
What is that?
Mrs. Monkey. Thank you for joining us. You're much more beautiful than your husband.
I agree.
But not nearly as much as your beautiful wife. So how you guys doing? I missed you guys in St. Louis. I hope
I
to catch
know.
you next time
I
around.
know.
Well, we're gonna catch you at Sturgis somehow,
We're gonna go
somewhere.
to the Vegas party, I think.
Oh, that'll be awesome.
That's the plan anyway. You never know how things work out. That's the thing with Sturgis. I always tell buddies, "Oh, we're gonna be there. We'll see you then." I'm like, look, just let your Sturgis flow. Don't worry about stuff because it's a huge investment to go to that thing, and you just don't want to be. Oh, you know what I mean? You just don't want to be over pressured on time and stuff. Just do you. I hope it happens. If not, then it's fine. That kind of thing. Like,
So the St. Louis thing that we missed you at.
oh, why are there two of these?
Poppy, I brought you ice.
Oh,
What was that?
So the St. Louis thing that we missed you at.
Mm-hmm.
I just shared some inside news with your hubby. That deal is expanding, and it's not something I'm advertising, but I found out today, and they asked me how I knew. But he's going to have a show at Bike Fest.
so yeah,
That's gonna be awesome.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
He was like, "How did you find out?" I'm like, "It's on the internet." He's like, "Okay then."
Somebody put it on a calendar somewhere, and it's out there.
It's on the interweb.
Wish Sturgis would do that.
Mm-hmm.
We were talking about the
Oh,
fact
no.
that you can't find
Oh,
nothing
you
nowhere.
can't find. I was shocked today. Just Kickstands put out their poster with all their bands. The Chip finally put something out with at least most of their bands, and it's just so hard to get anything scheduled because you don't know where you're going to be because they won't release any information like it's Secret Squirrel.
Well, we have our thing with Jasmine on the night of the 3rd. I say our thing. Literally, like I reached out to Jasmine and Kevin and say, hey, we should do a pre-rally kickoff thing and make it an annual deal where we just hang out the night before at Kickstands. And she was like, that'd be awesome. So we get on a call with Kickstands people, and the Kickstands people are like, oh, that's cool. And I'm like, oh, all right, so what was the point of this call? Because we're all just going there on the night of the 3rd. And then since then, Kickstands hasn't said anything about anything other than Jasmine Kane is playing. So you're just like, all right, whatever. It doesn't matter, but
Nobody promotes anything.
Well, they don't have social media people. They don't have marketing people. They don't have people that realize that putting it out there, what this is and why.
They don't have writing in these Ozarks.
They don't have
putting
Mike
out all
and,
the good
you know.
information. They just don't have. They need a,
Which I want that freaking Indian Harley, dude. That is the best pit bike you could ever possibly want. I'm gonna put knobbies on it and abuse the shit out of that thing at rallies. Like
The X440.
have fun.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we love to have a 400cc single Harley that we would just abuse?
Yeah, we'll put it right next to the space we don't have.
Well, get an electric bike and put it there.
No, I wouldn't be surprised if you put it in bed with you and then I just sleep on the sofa. It's, you know.
See, always fixing problems.
You guys don't know what our living room looks like right now.
No, you got a motor.
I heard,
Oh, no, the motor's the nice part.
but I heard that like he had to bring parts into the house that you could swap, you know, the handles and the hinges and everything else in the air conditioning while he slaved
Let's
away
not
in the
talk about-
garage.
No. I see
It
what
was
you're
your
doing, Mike.
bike.
No. Psst. Quiet. Men are
You're
best when
done.
they're quiet and obedient. No. Hold on. That's not the case. It wasn't just my bike.
It was just your bike.
No, puppy.
It was literally just your bike.
Puppy, no, puppy.
There was no other bike.
Listen, Linda.
There was no other
listen.
bike.
Oh, yeah, the handles to your green bike. The
They're
latches
gone now,
for
aren't
the
they? They're gone now, aren't they?
So right now there are boxes, no joke, stacked up as high as I am tall.
With your motorcycle parts in them.
I can't hear you out of that ear.
I took my motorcycle parts to a shop, and you know the wheels thing I told you about, Monkey.
Yeah.
So I wasn't paying attention when they sent me the link. The rear wheel's an 18, mine's a 16, which it'll work.
Yeah.
But I told him they were replacing the stock wheels, so he ordered a 16 tire. So I dropped the wheels off, and he calls me an hour later. He's like, "You brought me an 18-inch wheel." I ordered a 16-inch tire. I'm like, "Fuck."
Oh,
Sure, I go back and look, and it's an 18-inch wheel because
Yeah, because they went to an 18 in what year?
I think 18.
Yeah.
18.
But it'll fit. It's fine. It's all the same stuff.
Except for I can't put a 16-inch tire on an 18-inch wheel.
Right.
I mean, look, you could try.
Is that going to throw your speedo off? Because isn't it from the transmission?
It's it's a low profile tire they use on the 18s. So from what I've read, it's going to raise the bike maybe 3/8 of an inch. The tire circumference is not going to change a whole lot.
It's fine.
So I'm actually going to like measure the height before and then after just to see how much it raises it, because I've read this on forums, but I haven't been able to find it in a video. Of course, some guy in a video said that the 18 makes you ride better over potholes because it's a bigger circumference wheel. And I'm like, not if it's a smaller tire.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you have
so
that
still
much
the same.
rubber, that much rubber, that no.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're still the same circumference. You're still covering the same amount of ground.
So my chopper's a 16-inch wheel with a tall tire because you run it with 15 pounds of air because that is your suspension. So I have a buddy who put a front wheel 19 on the back of his chopper, and he was like, it is unrideable. He's like, he goes, it just collapses your spine over a pebble. So that because your tire is your suspension on a rigid chopper.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. My dad
which,
sent
by
me
the
a
way,
picture.
I made a bad choice again, and I am redoing the exhaust and intake and everything on the chopper before Sturgis because it's not running right and it's spitting and it's a pain in the ass. So I ordered a very expensive set of upswept fishtails for the chopper.
Through Paco?
Yeah, the only ones that fit my bike. Literally, Paco makes the frame, and they're the only ones that make the exhaust that will fit unless you have them custom made.
So the exhaust was being a pain in the ass, so you just got a new one. So if I start being a pain in the...
Be careful, sister.
are you
Just watch yourself
That's-
there. If you, as soon as you start spitting,
That's... there's no respect.
we got to write that one down for this Friday. They'll enjoy that one. Yeah, we have a members only live this Friday.
Oh.
Yeah, I guess I'm gonna have to sign up for that, and then Firecracker's gonna have to sit next to me so we can sit on the members only.
So
It's really
the
hard to
funny
do
thing
on the phone though, because I was gonna do it on the phone, and it's like impossible to get it on the phone.
you
You're
have to do it on the
fucking-
computer. Now everything works from a phone once you've done it, but you have to do the sign up on a
Yeah,
phone.
I mean you're fucking Google. You got data centers bigger than the town I live in, and you can't make this shit work on a mobile phone.
And also when we first started this whole thing, one of the first things I said was, how do we give free members things to all the other channels? Like, I don't, you know what I mean? That just because it would be easier to, this, that, and the other, and they can't. Like, the ability is not there to just go, these people are collaborators or whatever you want to call it, and so they shouldn't have to pay to do the, you know, like, so it's whatever, but
It's all right.
yeah,
You-
it's
Well, I'm helping with your parts because I did sign up as a member.
oh, I appreciate it. That's the funny thing is that whole thing was, I was like, all right, so that's going to pay for the seat and the dash pad for the shovel head, and it's nowhere near even covering half of it. Like,
Yeah.
fine, whatever.
I
got to tell Jeff that I'm not bringing the bike to him until after surgery.
I have a members thing on mine, and it's like $20 a month, and I just collect that money up, and then when I buy something that I do a review on, I thank my members because they basically paid for it so I can do a review on it.
They bought it. There you go. Yeah. So Dallas says he canceled his health insurance.
Dallas
Yeah,
is so full of
that's good. That's good.
He didn't need it
Dallas
anyway.
probably drives a Bentley pickup truck. The rich prick. Like,
Hold it. But he didn't sell his gold wing, did he?
no, Hot Wing is still there.
because nobody wants it. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say that out loud? No.
Although Dallas is the same sort of like makes bad choices as I do when he bought a Hot Wing. Because when I said, like, look, when I sell Gold Member in a couple months, start telling me now if you want it, because then I probably won't even list it. I'll just go, this person said they want it. He was the first.
I want it.
Dallas like, I want that bike. I was like,
Well, you know, I think he said he made, but he said he made $6 in 5 months on Instagram, so he is kind of rolling in it.
How people make money on Instagram.
I don't get it. I don't. They have to have 1.95 trillion followers, and I don't understand.
The TikTok thing too. I have friends at the office who do coupon saving TikTok stuff, and she has something like, I think she has 80,000 followers, and she goes, she doesn't see a dime. Like, it's just not.
I don't make anything on
money.
Instagram. I have 30,000 followers, and I'm not monetized on Instagram.
I don't even have 2,000, so I'm not even worried about it. But
But Dallas is monetized. But I'm telling you, that concrete thing is compelling. Like, I watched the crap out of Dallas's videos, and then pouring foundations. I just sit there and watch. Like,
I think part of it is kind of like the scenery thing when you're riding a bike. You know, it's something different. It's, you never get this perspective. It's a whole something you never see in your life. You know, like everybody goes to McDonald's. Not everybody gets to see concrete poured over a wall, through a tube, blah, blah, blah. And it's just, that's interesting. I've never seen that before.
Yeah. Oh, we watch the strangest things.
the lawn guy.
Oh gosh, yeah, the guy who
Love
just goes
lawn
around,
guys.
Yeah, just mowing people's lawns for free, and
they
we're just
find
sitting
houses that are overgrown
that are
and
derelict.
like make them look like a golf course. I will sit and watch that shit for 2 hours. Like,
No,
it's unbelievable.
And the
Like,
worst part is you find yourself saying, "Well, I wouldn't have pulled it that way. That's not how I used to."
you're like judging them. Like,
you're like, lawn.
Yeah, and then I like
I
when
don't
the
cut my
neighbors
own
start
grass.
bitching.
Yeah,
When the neighbor comes over, what the fuck are you doing?
no.
Yeah.
Dallas,
do you
you're
ever
going to need to
watch-
sell more than 2 Kawasaki's.
Do you ever watch the ones where they show $50 million home, and we're like, "Well, that's ridiculous. That's not what I would put in mine," as though that were ever an option. That's absurd. I hate that. I would never buy that.
we watched a video just the other day from a realtor that one of the most expensive homes in the U.S.
in Palm Beach. It's the most expensive.
It's
home
a
in Palm
private
Beach.
island in Palm Beach. It's about 15 minutes from our house. Now, that does not reflect on our house. I'm just saying it's about 15 minutes from our house. It's $230 million.
Jeez.
And they did a tour of it. And we were talking shit the whole time. We were like, I wouldn't have done that. Why did they put that there? And that's like,
they painted that white. How tacky. And we're
The
like,
closet's made out of solid gold? That's stupid.
You know what?
that's so bad.
I'm not leaving a deposit. I'm not doing it.
Guys, I think Firecracker is going to pull out of the stream here. She's been texting me like, I'm going to go. Do you want me to just leave the studio?
No, don't go.
Get your ass in here.
I got things to do.
We had Sturgis, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was.
But they're only there like,
I think it was.
you leave on the 9th. They're coming later and staying longer. So we're
Oh,
only
when
gonna
do you
be
get there?
Sunday night. But we're planning on doing Skinnerd.
Yeah, so
Monday
we'll
night.
see
Me
you
too.
and they might come to the Vegas
When do you be
party.
there, Steve?
We don't leave till Saturday morning.
Oh,
We're
okay.
leaving-
We'll get there on Sunday night, leave on Saturday morning because we can do it in 2 days. So we use the weekends for travel and take 1 week off.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I got to leave Tuesday. The
Tuesday.
8th or whatever it is.
You leave on the 8th? Okay. Yeah.
So I got to join like the professional monkey.
All
tour
right,
to get
so
in on
bye,
the
everybody.
live-
Oh,
See if
Yeah, I gotta
see
get
it.
work clothes ready.
Was it me? Is it because I'm Hispanic? I feel
No.
happy it is.
racist.
Damn
No.
it, I knew it.
Cancel her.
It was good seeing you, hon. I look forward to
You
meeting you. in
too.
person.
So I got a funny for you. I have a work call in 3 hours.
One question. I got to join the professional monkey tier to get in on the members only live streams, right?
It's the second one gets
Yeah.
you the lives. Yeah, not the. We did a one that was like $3 just for those that just want to contribute something, and then that
Yeah.
God love them, whatever. And
Yeah,
then the
I think
second
my-
one will
I
get
think
you
my-
the members lives.
I think my low tier for like if you just want to support me or something, it's $1 or $2.
Yeah. And then we have the top level, which is I do people don't understand that. I do videos that are only for the top level, but it's videos only they would care about. No one cares about when I my work travels. People don't typically care, but those people do. They want to see me go to Argentina
I
or
saw
whatever.
Sparky is out of Fort Lauderdale.
Yeah. So I told him he said he sent us a message because he's from St. Louis and lives in Fort Lauderdale.
Oh, those are bad people.
Yeah, terrible. But he said he sent me a message and got blocked. I was like, I didn't block you. I don't know how you got
blocked.
So
where?
I put my email address in there, like, send me an email. Like,
Yeah.
But he was saying how great Scarlett's is.
I don't know.
I told him about the barristers.
Oh, you did?
Yeah,
oh,
I already told that
must
story.
have turned
I know about the cabaret run, and Firecracker's been thrown out of a club in East St. Louis.
Yeah.
I have not.
How did she get thrown out of a club? See, that's a good story.
You're gonna have to ask her at Sturgis or get her back on the stream.
I'm gonna have to.
I can't tell the story without her. It's her story.
So they figured out the bus route, so they don't have to worry about drinking and riding. They're gonna.
Where are you staying?
They're staying in Leeds. They're gonna take the bus from
In
Deadwood.
Leeds?
Yeah, but they're gonna take the bus from Deadwood.
Holy cow!
To the
How long
swamp
is
across
that?
the street.
That's
Deadwood's not far.
no
20
Leeds.
Leeds is Deadwood. Leeds,
Yeah, well,
Deadwood's
it's a
the
little
same time.
further out though, isn't it?
No,
Isn't it further out from?
Leeds like connected to Deadwood. It's on the
Yeah.
backside of Deadwood.
Yeah.
You turn left, it's
thought
Leeds.
it-
You turn right, it's Deadwood.
I thought it was further. Where was that place we?
Nemo?
No, maybe no, not Nemo. Didn't we take a wrong turn somewhere? And we're like, oh,
We
this
took a
is
lot
like-
of wrong
Well,
turns.
yeah, that's true.
It's like
That's the
20
great thing about Sturgis. You get
Roads
lost all the time.
in
Like,
life.
whatever.
it's
and
20,
also-
30-minute ride depending on the time and the traffic.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because that year we stayed in not Rapid City.
Rapid City.
Yeah, it was the one by C-section Sally's.
Rapid City.
Yeah,
Box
Fox Elder.
Elder.
Fox Elder.
Box Elder.
That was an awful ride back from the chip there in the
Oh, it
cold.
was cold and raining. That rain is cold
Steve,
at
are
2
you
in the
from
morning in
Missouri?
South Dakota.
I'm from Kansas City, Kansas
Okay.
side.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
guys
he doesn't
know-
really count. He lives on the flat side.
Yeah.
but it's still cold. So you guys know the way I look at it, anything under 60, it might as well be snowing. And that year riding back, and it was particularly cold. It was so cold. I passed out for probably a good 25, 30 minutes on the back of the bike. I was on the back seat then. And it was awful. Like I had heating pads. I could not warm myself up. That was just, hopefully. I hear the weather's supposed to be nice this year, but I don't know. You just never know.
Oh, last year it was 175 degrees. Last year it was
In the shade.
It was hot. Like it was bad. Hey, I'll take that over the cold year though. 2017 was like 49 degrees, 50 degrees during the day. Like, no.
17 was my first year to go, and I still have my Harley-Davidson coat I bought at Deadwood Harley-Davidson sitting in my closet.
Because it was that friggin' cold.
Oh, I was like, "Fuck, I can't fucking take it anymore.
That was my first
It's
year
cold.
too. Yeah, it's ridiculous.
I
And
packed
especially
it.
when it's triple digits during the day and then, down to the 50s, 40s at night. That's
Man.
Yeah, I packed a hoodie
packed.
last year, or the last time we went, I packed like a hoodie or something, and that was good. That was all I needed. But I'm used to Missouri. It drops to 60 at night here all the time during the summer. So, depending on how many Beam and Cokes I've had, whether I need a hoodie or not.
It's if you're coming out of like what we do every year, man, we either come out of Hill City or Keystone at 9 o'clock after we've had dinner at the Powder House or something, and it will be cold every year. It's doesn't matter what it was during the day, it's cold and might sprinkle on you coming down out of the mountains, and it's going to be freaking miserable if you don't have gloves and a sweatshirt and a full face and all that shit. So I actually have 2 tour packs. I have the Razor that's all custom painted to match the bike, and I have a King Pack that's just green. The same green as the bike, but doesn't have all the scales and shit on it. The King Pack is for our helmets. So the days that we're going to be rolling late and all over the place, I run the King Pack. And the days where it's in shows and shit, I put the Razor on. Yeah. Honestly, my favorite is no pack. I don't like the feeling of it on the bike. It just, it's irritating, whatever. But
I put that Razor pack on, and obviously you can't put a helmet in it. And when we went to Cassaday, there were supposed to be some storms possibly, so I put a full face on the back seat and used one of those little net,
that'll work.
Hook and to hold it in place. But the only bad thing is if I didn't put it on and it stormed, it's going to get wet. You're going to soak some of that up into the lining or whatever. And I'm like, so I thought for Sturgis, because I have to take a helmet for Tuesday with a mic, because I want to be, if nothing else, I want to be able to record my thoughts like real time. So when I go back and make a video, I can, go back and express the things that I actually felt or thought about it,
Yeah.
So I've got a Scorpion full face that has a removable chin guard. So modular with the chin guard completely off. So I'm packing it, but I got a bag from Kimimoto I'm going to be doing a video on that's expandable. So it's tall enough I can put my full face in. So it'll sit on the back seat, and then I'll have my Razor pack.
That is a good idea.
Yeah, last minute.
Enough bags there.
Last minute, I said to Alan, I was like, yeah, we're not going to bring our helmets with us every day. He's like, why? I go, they don't fit in the Razor. He goes, so you're not going to have your helmets? Like, Alan's like my mother. He's like, you're not going to have your full face helmets up in Sturgis? I go, no, we'll figure it out. He's like, I'm sending you a King Pack. It's on its way. It'll be there. Like, I'm like, Mom, I'll be okay. It's totally fine. Like, but anyway, a couple days later, big ass box on the front porch. And he goes, I couldn't get the stencil on in time because I'm like, you're a nut, man. Like,
and the guy that sent me the Razor would probably send me a King if I asked. Yeah. But I don't like asking and that kind of thing. I mean, if there's something that I'm interested in doing a video on that I actually want to use and want to review and share with people, then I'll ask maybe. But and it's kind of like this. I reached out to Kimimoto because I've done stuff with them. I'm like,
they're cool people.
So I'm like, I'm looking at a tour pack lid organizer, a bag that goes inside of it, and a bag to put on the back seat that I can put my helmet in, and they hooked me up. So I'm going to share kind of
the only issue we've ever had with tour pack lid organizers, not Kimimoto necessarily, but in South Florida, the sun is so hot that the adhesive actually lets go from the lid because it's too hot. Like if you're sitting outside, the sun is just sitting on the lid of that tour pack. You cannot adhere anything to the inside of that lid.
And I guess we'll see how that works out. Right. And that may be how this turns out. This one doesn't have a liner, so it's a Velcro double stick, tape basically to the top of the tour lid. But we'll see how it works out and stuff. So, but yeah, I mean, they've been great.
It's also probably a Florida thing, which you can't count that against every place else because
and
your sun all year.
Yeah, mine will sit outside on a Saturday for an hour or two at a bar or something like that, but that'd be about it. Otherwise, it'll be running down the road, which won't be as bad because we get enough shade here. We have trees that canopy over the roads.
We don't.
That must be nice.
You're just like
we're like 2-lane highways, so you can actually have a tree that covers the whole road, not 4-lane, not 4-lane divided highways everywhere.
I hear it's beautiful. I don't know.
We have. Everything's a divided 4-lane everywhere you go. There's no turns. There's no hills.
We're going to have to figure out sometime in the future, a year or two down the road, whatever it takes for y'all like to come up and hang out in the Ozarks and let's show you some of our favorite rides up here.
That'd be awesome.
BBB, Spring Fling, something like that.
And then you come down here and we'll take that straight line, which will take you all the way from the north of Florida to South Florida and back. There is that one turn into the gas station.
Mike's going to ride by on cruise control, Pat, like asleep.
So I
people always say like, we want to come down and ride to Key West. Like, go right ahead. I've done it 6-7 times. There's about 30 minutes where it is like, wow, it's paradise. Yeah. But the other 6.5 hours from our house is like awful. It's just, if there's it's only 1 lane in and 1 lane out. So if there's a single accident, the highway stops. And you just sit there as long as it takes them to pick up all the heads and body parts, you ain't going nowhere.
The Cat House and I've been talking about trying to come to Daytona Beach next year together. So if it works out, the Cat House is coming to Daytona Beach, and I'll be traveling along with them, me and Firecrackers. So we may be at Daytona next year. That's hopefully on the goal. So
At least
I'd
for
like to go to the
fun.
Cat House, and I could probably do the whole fly in to someplace and get a bike thing, but I just need to plan it way in advance. We both know, we work for a living. You can't give me 3 weeks notice. Like I
Right.
can't do that.
so
Well, it's not just it's the job, it's the baby, it's the dog.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's all those things.
well, we need to plan it when you can both come, and come for 2 or 3 days, and we do the event, but we have some time to go ride together and hang out and show you some of the local stuff. You guys would absolutely Spring Fling is not huge as far as like the traffic and all that stuff. And we can go out and we can hit a scenic highway and ride and it not be congested. And you get to actually ride and enjoy and not worry about the traffic and what's around you every turn. And, Bikes, Blues, and Barbecue will be 300,000 bikes in that area. And Spring Fling will be, 20,000 bikes in the whole area. So,
it's cold at Spring Fling though, isn't it? Like I saw you guys bundled up in your video.
Can be,
but
yeah.
This year we had ice on the seat one morning. So we had, 30 degrees at night, but by midday it's 60 or 70.
It up into his cup, into his drink. It was
right. It's convenient, really.
You're gonna save all that.
But it's not always like that. I mean, there's been spring flings that it's short sleeves all day. So it just kind of depends. This year we happen to have a cold spring fling.
There's also only so many things you can do. So Dallas just said St. Louis in February. I had an absolute blast this year, but said if she can't come with me next year, I will probably not go.
Yeah.
Right.
We have a blast together. That sounds cheesy. Oh, shut up.
You're gonna get a kiss later.
Never mind. I'm going without you. Forget it.
Goodness.
I just mean for real. The whole time, I have more fun when she's there. And this year for February, I want to go, of course, but I want her to go with me.
Oh my gosh! You like.
Here's what I'll say about Northwest Arkansas. Sturgis has the big four runs, what I call the big four. Arkansas probably doesn't have that equivalent, but there's a lot more quality riding in Northwest Arkansas than in the Black Hills, in my opinion.
So we've done a guided ride or two up there, the ride Rod went on, and Rod will tell you this. I mean, he can comment right here. I think it was Rod I heard say this. We did this poker run, and we went up through Flat Eagle, southern Missouri, and back around and back into Northwest Arkansas and everything else. And I think it was Rod, might have been someone else, but he goes I think the roads here are better than Sturgis. He was surprised, but it's all the roads. All the roads are twisty. All the roads are curvy. All the roads have elevation change. Unless you're on frickin' I-44, they're all like that. Some have better pavement than others, but they're all like that. You don't have to. I mean, in Arkansas, you can pretty much go out of town on any road, and it's going to be twisty and turny. You don't have to look for the twistiest one.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which is nice. You don't realize what a difference it makes. When I moved to Missouri, he would laugh because I was on the back of the bike with the camera and everything was, he's like, what are you taking pictures of? A field. And there's hay.
A farmhouse.
Tree. And then we're going.
There's a hillbilly fucking a goat.
We go up to Augusta or go down to Augusta. And then the S turn and all this. And I was in the back going, wee! He's like, what are you doing? I go, it's a turn. It's an elevation change. And it's so different than here that when we went back a few years ago, in the car, and I think we had gone with the baby, or I was driving, he was on the bike, and I had the baby in the car. I was feeling car sick going up and down these hills, going, oh.
We did the Augusta Run, Defiance, all that sort of stuff.
You
ran
just
the
don't
alphabet,
realize
and,
it. But it's a nice change because down here, I mean, again, I don't mind it. I know people, give us a hard time. We're like, oh, you don't have roads there. I go, yeah, it's our fault. I was born in Florida.
It's where I live, man. It's
great. But it's still nice. It's what you're used to. So I'll take what I can get. Any writing's good writing. But that sounds amazing.
Well, and people say I should talk about, why I ride in the Ozarks. Well, I ride in the Ozarks because I live here. But but if you grow up here, you take it for granted until you go to Kansas.
Yeah.
So, I went to Kansas and we were with the River Bluff Baggers, and they stuck a camera in their face and they go, "So what do you think of the riding up here in Kansas?" I'm like, a little less elevation change than I'm used to is the nicest way I could put it.
Hey, so I had a good joke. So I caught Adam Sandoval's convoy, and he hit our Harley-Davidson dealership up on the north end of the city of Kansas City in Missouri, and then we crossed over into Kansas to the Harley-Davidson on the south end of town, which is in Kansas, and they were talking to the road captain, and everybody's kind of huddled around. We're all, there's 80 of us. We're all sitting there listening, and this guy goes, "Well, now, hey, when we get to the Harley-Davidson in Kansas, there's a pretty severe curve on a super busy street. And so we may want to take another approach or something." And I said, "Hey, hang on a minute. That's our only curve. We're proud of that."
That's one.
The curve.
That's it, man. That's our one curve.
Yeah.
There was that 90 as we came into town to go to that one bar. There was a 90 in town there.
That's a nice run.
We used to, so down here, the big ride in South Florida is Snake Road.
Yeah.
That's the straightest freaking snake that ever lived. I mean, like, we rode it one day. It got to like this gas station. So what'd you think? And I was like, "Oh, we did it? I thought we were still going there. Like that was the Snake Road. Like, jeez." It is it's so here. It's all about. It's definitely quantity over quality, because you can put on lots of miles. Like, I mean, we had several 15,000-mile years down here that were not hard years. It was just everything's 80 miles apart. You're going 85 miles an hour everywhere you go.
65 just to get to work.
So it's very easy to put on a lot of miles in a year that are mindless. Oh my God, kill me. And all of a sudden you start finding the importance of stereo. Like that, because you want to listen to your tunes, because it's a boring ride, so
right.
It's not the destination, it's the journey. No, down here it's the destination, because the journey is exciting. So
but it'd be great one year for you guys to come down and still,
it's still a blast. And I think that when we don't see palm trees anymore, like you don't even see them. Well, she's born here, but so when I love it when friends come down from the Midwest and they are in awe of a ride to LaBelle Brewery, which is boring as shit, but they're like, there were sugar fields and there were some palm trees, and there were some like literal old plantation houses that are sitting there falling down off the side of the highways. And we don't even see it anymore, but right. It's so different from what they see. It's amazing, so I love that.
Right. That's
like what Kansas. People say, "Oh, look, Indians." We're like, "Yeah, whatever."
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a different scenery, and that's why you find it interesting. And that's what I said about Sturgis. I mean, I love Sturgis and I love the scenery, and we want to go. But if I lived there, it would become mundane. Just like living here, I get used to this scenery. I take it for granted. And then people come here and they're like, "Oh my God, this is so amazing." And I don't realize it until I do something like the Cassaday bike run. No offense to them, but it's like Highway 54 straight to Wichita. And it's pretty much like straight, except for that little jog at Fort Scott. And it's pretty much straight roads again. I mean, in Kansas, literally, if you come up on a 90-degree turn out in the middle of nowhere, they put up flashing signs to get your attention to warn your ass to slow down a quarter mile before the turn, because it's a 25-mile-an-hour turn and people up there aren't used to it. Right. Oh, you're up here in this middle of this field and there's a 25-mile-an-hour right angle, and we've got to like break out the National Guard and warn you.
One of the things
here we'd be like, "You fuckers are going to die if you can't see this. Too bad."
One of the things we're excited about this year is that we get to Sturgis so early that the reality is you get to Sturgis and it takes you a day to go, "Oh yeah, that's what a turn is like." Like, you have to relearn how to ride all over again.
Legs, yeah.
Get your legs back and figure out, "Oh yeah, that's right. That's what counter steering is like." And you lose all that when every day. So
same here.
Yeah. So you get up there and you need a day to learn how to ride all over again. and we're getting there so early that no one else, well, not no one, but way fewer people will be there. So we're going to have 3 days on the road, just us, and that never happens. So we're really excited to have 3 days. And in the first 6 hours or so are going to be us going, oh yeah, I learned how to ride all over again today. That's great. Like
there's a turn. What do I do?
There's a turn. What do you, and when you watch videos like one of our favorite channels is Let's Go Traveling. It's this guy from North Dakota, South Dakota,
I think he's
nicest guy on earth. He goes to Sturgis by himself, and he just narrates his own adventure. And he's just this. It's like ASMR for bikers, because he's like, well, I'm going to go into town and get a buffalo burger today, and he just But I watch him, and I always say, I go, stop riding the brake, downshift, engine brake. What are you doing? You're going to burn up your friggin' brakes by the time you get to the bottom. Because he does do that. He uses the brakes, not the motor. And that's something you got to use the motor on those hills.
Well, and see, for me, it's, I guess, I take it for granted. I had a friend who commented on my Facebook page the other day. I guess I posted a reel and it got in his feels. And this is a guy who's been my best friend since he was 16 years old. He rode a Honda Matic when he was 16, and somebody took off with his motorcycle one night in town, and I chased him down and made him bring it back because I knew the guy that borrowed it. And I said, bring it back or I'm going to kick your ass, and then your brother's going to kick your ass because your brother's a friend of mine, And I made him bring it back. And me and this guy have been best friends since he was 16 years old. He's in his 40s now and stuff. And he was in my wedding, my first wedding and everything and stuff, but he rode CBRs and stuff like that. But he wrote something up and posted it about me that was kind of touchy feely, because I posted this reel about, I do this every day because I love it. And he's like, this guy really does. And that trip to Cassidy, if anything else, like getting out and traveling reminds me, how good I have it here. So I don't take it so for granted, because to be honest, I can go out and spend an hour after work and play King of the Baggers. I mean, I've got in 15 minutes, I can be on roads that, make you feel like you're at Laguna Sequoia. They're probably not, but when you're throwing a street glide down in a turn that's, at 75 mile an hour, that's rated for 45 mile an hour, you feel like you're doing something. And we do that all the time here. And I just take it for granted until I come around the turn and there's a deer in the road.
Well, yeah.
But,
that's true.
It's
whereas I just ride up and down the parking garage just to get a turn in every once in a while. And, but it's still the best. It's the only practice you're going to get here. Yeah. And people, and we joke about it all the time. I've said it 1,000 times. Everybody's like, yeah, I don't see what the big deal is. When you've never seen an elevation change that goes above a speed bump, and then you go riding Needles in Iron Mountain, that is a shock to the system. And I told him when I climbed Bear Butte, I swear I came back with a bit of fear of heights. And it's no joke taking those turns. And if you're used to it, that's great. But here you're looking down and you see a mountain side, and you're just like, Jesus, it's jarring for a rider to go to Sturgis and not get used to that. So I joke with people all the time, but it's not really joking. I go, that is the only practice you will get in Florida to adjust to riding in Sturgis or in any place that's not like us. Yep. It's really going up and down the parking garage, because it's the only time you're going to get, essentially a 180 switchback, up and down a slide elevation, not much, with traffic coming in the other direction and, and all these other, obstacles in your way. It's the only thing that comes close to it. So that's the only thing we have. Now, granted, it's nice to drive. He knows I was raised on the beach. We were, riding down the beach on Christmas. That's nice to be able to do that, but it doesn't compare with some of these scenic rides you get in other places.
Right. I told Monkey earlier, I'm getting ready to put a video out about the rides we're going to do at Sturgis. And I do in the very beginning of the video, before I get into the actual rides, I preach to people like, hey, if you want to go run the canyons as fast as you can run the canyons, don't go during bike week. There's going to be lots of traffic. Don't do it. If that's what you're looking for, go some other time. Slow down, be safe, because you're going to come around a corner somewhere and traffic's going to come to a halt. There's going to be an accident or something else. And that's why people get hurt there, is because they're running roads they're not maybe used to. They don't have that kind of terrain where they're from, and they overestimate their abilities.
Absolutely.
In 21, I was talking to some cops down on Main Street in Sturgis, and I asked them, I said, where's where do most of these deaths occur during the rally? And they said it's the highway out of Sturgis leading to Deadwood.
Mm.
Because here's Mr. got some money, goes out and buys a brand new Road Glide, but hasn't hardly ridden, and he's wanting to, he's hanging with his buddies who can ride, and they start heading up into the mountains there, and there's some pretty good curves. And they said it's not just that inexperienced rider wrecking, losing control of his bike. It's also that rider going into the other lane and taking out somebody else.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
but
for
he
sure.
said that's where most of the deaths occurs on that
Which
highway.
almost happened to us. That guy
there was some asshole.
It was bad.
Coming back. Just it's if I don't know you, don't share my lane. You know what I mean? Like that. I don't know you. Stay the hell out of my. I ride axle to axle with brothers that I've known for you forever. I don't know you. Stay the hell out of my lane. And this guy was splitting lanes in bikes because he thought he was tough. I actually swerved in front of him a couple times. I don't care. I'll get aggressive.
No, the one on Needles who came around the turn.
That was a car then.
No, it was the bike. There was a bike that came around. It doesn't matter.
He drifted across the line.
He drifted across, and you're just staring straight into a bike, coming straight at you. It's just terrible. Yeah. Well, it happens. We have them with deers, cars. Doesn't matter, but you're absolutely right. It's not the time to learn.
Yeah.
No. And it's okay to say, I'm not going to do Iron Mountain if I don't feel comfortable. And
or, if you're there with whoever and you're going to do Iron Mountain as a backseat, but Spearfish Canyon is very doable for anybody.
Right.
Banneker is doable. The ride to Deadwood is doable. The ride to, if you're just going to Rapid City and back, doable. But like if you are a learning rider, get on the back for Iron Mountain and Needles. It's okay.
Right.
It's okay.
Right. Or like we've got a person, she's rode a few years, but she rides a little 750 Honda. She's going to trailer it most of the way and drive the safety vehicle because it's not going to keep up with all of us rolling 90 mile an hour across South Dakota. Yeah. But when she gets there, she was worried about riding it with all the traffic. And we're like, we're going to put you near the back, but you're not going to be in the back. We will have people back there and I will be, running the pace in the front. And we're not going to outrun you on Needles and Spearfish or Needles and Iron Mountain
30 mile an hour at fast
because there's too much. Right, there's too much traffic and too many turns. We're not going to outrun you, but we'll put people in the back that'll keep people off your ass. You can ride whatever side of the lane you want. We know you're going to move across. We'll be watching you. You'll be in the middle. You'll be protected. We told her if you don't want to ride, then get on the back of mine. Firecracker told her that it's a good friend of ours. We were at their wedding. She's like, you can ride on the back of Mike's bike if you don't want to ride on your husband's bike. She says her husband scares her now. So I don't know. But anyway, as far as his riding style,
it's not the place to learn.
Even on those sweeping, even on Spearfish is where we see a lot of the guys, like you said, that are, I'm going to try to, hit this at 100 miles an hour. And it's for what? That it's a long sweeping turn and all of a sudden it goes down to, 20 miles to take a little loop to loop. And that's where you see all these guys cutting in between packs, trying to outrace everybody. And it's just not.
I think there's two things that we'll see, and I've already seen on the social media channels. The performance bagger scene has taken some lives.
Oh, yeah.
Because dudes are putting money into bikes and 180 horsepower and they can't ride a sumbitch up stock. Yeah. And then the second thing is I'm going to live my life on one wheel. Look at me, I'm wheelie boy burnout. Da, 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 da. And then you see that guy 2 months later in traction, who is now on a walker. And I think I've told her, I go, you know what? I want to do a video, but I don't know how to do it to where it's long enough for it to make sense. But if you do this long enough, you're going to watch people die.
Oh yeah.
You're gonna see people die. People you love. They're going to die, who have kids, who have this, that, and the other. And it's just, I think the blow up of social media, YouTube channels, Insta hoes and Insta celebrities, they've got 5 years in the saddle. A lot of them, seriously. If you actually look at them and go back in their history, they've been riding about 5 years. They haven't seen a close friend die. They haven't seen all that stuff. They haven't been in a hospital. They haven't had an accident.
I've had a few people on the channel that I've met, and you get the impression from the channel like they have all this experience and they know all this, and then you get them on a live stream and you're talking like, so how long ago did you start riding? Well, 3 years ago I got my first crotch rocket and I switched to Harley or Indian or whatever 18 months ago, and and I'm like, so you've got 3 years in the saddle and you're on social media telling everybody else about why this bike is better or why they should do this or that. And everybody's entitled to their own opinion. It's their channel and stuff. But I don't think people sometimes understand that because it's on the internet and because this guy has a channel doesn't mean that he has experience or an expert. Not that I'm an expert in everything or anything, but people don't always don't have that critical thinking about, does this guy know what the fuck he's talking about?
The answer is no, 99 times out of 100. Some of the biggest YouTube channels in the Harley space have 5 years in the saddle.
Yeah.
And you can go back in the channel and see that. They bought a Sportster 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was their first motorcycle. And now they're the kings of this world. And it's like they don't know what the fuck they're talking about half the time. So it's just reality.
I mean, that is some of the things I do some research. I try to know things. And when I hear guys who talk and they're telling their audience all these things and they're recommending bikes, and then they're talking about, you should get a Rebel 250. I'm like, they haven't made a Rebel 250 in I don't know how many years. It's a Rebel 300 and a 500 and 1100. And they don't even know that bike doesn't exist anymore, but they're recommending it. And I'm like, if you don't know enough about what the current model is or whatever else, then you shouldn't be recommending what bike to people to ride, like a specific model that doesn't even exist anymore. I mean, you can buy a used one, but they're talking about going out and buying a new one.
The problem is before you still had those guys, right? Because we've all been to the dealership, and I'll say this because it's easier for a woman to have this experience than a guy. Where you walk into a dealer, they don't know anything about you. They don't know what you know. They don't know what you don't. They don't know what you ride. They don't know a thing about you. And they're like, oh, hun, because hun, right? I got a Sportster for you. No, and I've seen them do this to, 5'2" women saying, oh, the Sportster is the best first bike for you, with no authority, with no experience. We met that one guy at the dealership. I won't say which dealer. Super nice guy. He doesn't have a bike yet.
Yeah, he doesn't ride.
He doesn't ride. So you're sitting there telling me it's not that you can't know about motorcycles without riding, but you're trying to convey.
No, you can't. Well, you can say that. You can't know a motorcycle.
You can know specs. You can read a sheet and regurgitate a sheet.
You could know.
We went through a sales training program.
Exactly. You can read a book and know about as much as I did when I first started learning. I know all the facts. I know the history. I know all this stuff. That is not the same as telling me what a riding experience and giving me tips and tricks and all this stuff about
road
riding.
Ride versus a Softail versus
before it was just you go to the dealer, you met that the couple of guys who were condescending to the ladies, tried to play it up with the guys. Now with the advent of the internet and all this stuff, it's just easier and everybody's an authority.
I think this is also
ridiculous.
A matter of back in the day.
Back in my day,
the newer rider would show up to riding events and they would self-identify. I feel like that was the thing, because I'd be on the back of my dad's bike. Dad was road captain, when hog chappers were like baby MCs 40 years ago, right? And so the new guy would show up and he would self-identify, and then they would go, all right, cool, so this is where we're going to be. And they would just listen and go, what do you think about this and what about that? And the whole day was them eager to learn. Today, it's all about everyone lying about their experience level and trying to pretend like there's something they're not, and trying to get out in front of people that have done this for 40 something years. And there's a falseness. I can't describe it other than that. And that's the difference. Also, I think salespeople don't listen. She stopped me from doing a video from our St. Louis visit. I'll leave it at the fact that we were in St. Louis, where we went to a dealer that I expected to have some older bikes and inventory, because in St. Louis, as a good thing, dealers are more apt to sell bikes that aren't as new as they are in South Florida. South Florida, 10 years, done. They won't touch it. It goes to the wholesaler. That's it. But I happen to know the dealers in my hometown, they'll sell an Evo every once in a while. You'll see some cool old stuff on their website. I said to this salesperson, they said, anything I help you find? I said, I was just looking for something cool. And she's like, what's something cool? I go, I don't know, Evo. Anything with an Evo is at least interesting. Oh, okay. Well, let me show you this twin cam street glide. Like, no. I just said a lowrider or Evo or an FXR or, something, just, anything like that. The chick texted me last week a Milwaukee 8 street glide with big wheel on it. And I'm like, you didn't listen to me at all. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you did not at all listen to what I said.
Good night, Rod.
Because I even said, look, my dad's in town with a trailer. If you had something cool, I might buy it and have him bring it home in a couple months. That's fine. But she didn't listen.
No.
And that burns my ass like you wouldn't believe, because I'm in business development and listening is the number one thing. Like,
So,
it's irritating as hell.
So Rod said, I'll see you at the Vegas party, Monkey. Mike, let's stay in touch. I'll ride with you. So we'll probably catch Rod there and stuff. And if we come to the Vegas
It'll
party,
be his birthday, I'm told.
It'll be his birthday, and I'll introduce you, and he can buy us all a shot for his birthday.
Yeah. Well, I'll probably have shots in my pocket because I'm staying there, but that's all right.
Yeah.
I'll buy shots from my pocket, which is dirty, and I like it.
So, hey, Mike, I think this is what, our 10th live?
It is our 10th live, our 10th. Since we started doing this, is me, you, and Firecracker. This is episode 10. Yes.
So you guys brought up something that really clicked in my head. So I remember after the first one and we signed off, and I felt so stupid. I was like, man, I don't know shit. And it was weird when you guys were talking about knowing your stuff, because you get on here and it dawns on you that all these people are listening to you. And all of a sudden you're like, crap. I mean, you have to put your thoughts, you have to think about what you want to talk about. Where I'm going is it's a lot tougher than I thought it was going to be. And I've been riding bikes since I was 5. I'm 56. So to your point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and you realize you have access to so many, when you do lives in particular, and I know Mike, when I was laughing when you said, I do a little research. Really? Stop being so humble. You do a lot of damn research, because I'm sitting there going, I need to learn about, let me go back to his thing. And I mean, but you realize that you're in a crowd with, if you're in the right crowd, you're in a crowd with people that have been riding, since they were kids. You can't once you get to this, not just a video that some guy will leave a comment and you could delete. When you go on a live, you expose yourself to a lot of, people will see the bullshit coming a mile away.
Yes.
Like, what are you talking about? Like, that doesn't go there. That's that, like Mike said, that model hasn't existed in, so you get to pick apart people. And that's why a lot of people don't. And I'm the first one, like, oh, this is your opportunity to learn. But if you're not learning, if you're just putting out there, what are you doing? Oh, evidently
StreamYard is the thing now where I can broadcast to my channel too.
Yeah, you didn't know that? As a guest.
I did not know that until just now. I just thought, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead.
No.
I'm like, what is that button doing? I'm like, holy crap, I'm about to go live on mine. Like, never mind.
I've told Steve, I don't know if you can do it after you're already in, but if you have a Facebook, I assume Facebook, but they said, your guests can now, if I enable it, they can broadcast the stream to their own channels.
Oh,
I just noticed more people, right?
Yeah.
Next time we do this, I'll do that, because you never know. Like, you always get to more people that are new that don't know about, like that's.
Well, when you gave the shout out about the CVO video, and you said on the short, and you said, wait for Mike's video.
Hate mail over that.
Did you? Because I got like 50 guys that are like, Monkey was right. I mean, who commented on the video like, Monkey was right. This is the video that we all need to see.
I did that. Yeah, I got on there and did a short before you did, just going, no one else do a freaking video, please. I don't give a shit about whether you like the orange or not.
Right.
Like, I don't, because you're going to be you're going to be commenting on the same thing we all saw. I don't want to see 50 videos about the video we all saw. Your video is going to suck. Like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. It's junk. It's garbage. I had other channels going, well, I guess I'll just send you all of my topics the next month and you can decide whether or not I should do it or not. And I replied, you shouldn't. It's going to suck. Like, don't do it. Just don't do any of them.
subtlety is.
I'm like, the only video of the CVOs I want to see is riding the Ozarks. That's the only video I want to see, because he's going to crawl up Harley's ass and he's going to go like, the seat height is this, and the rake and the camber and the da 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 da. I'm like, that's what I want to see. I don't want to see that you like the orange or not.
My favorite was when he found a picture of a bike that was coming out. He found the
Lowrider ST
patio where they took the picture.
Oh yeah.
on Google Earth. We tracked it down on Google Earth.
I'm like,
I had
dude.
a tip. I had somebody who said, I recognize that patio. I think I know where it's at. And they told me, and regular Google Earth doesn't have a good enough resolution to see it. But my dad, as a surveyor for the government, has access to higher quality Google Earth images. And so I gave him coordinates and he zoomed in and we could see the door frame was exactly the same.
That's why.
Do not walk out to the backyard with no pants, because he has
He's
access
watching.
to high quality.
So I can go helicopter in the backyard and end up on YouTube.
Oh, great.
What do you call those little bitty airplane things with the
Hey!
Sorry.
Those are it's the only propeller I have. Yeah,
I'm glad Firecracker's not on here. You don't want to hear her helicopter stories.
Oh, but we do.
I really
Hey, I shared a
It's not
bedroom
me.
wall with
It's
that
she
son of
went
a bitch in St. Louis.
before we went to before we got together. She went on a float trip with a friend of ours, and he's a biker, and apparently his touches his kneecap, because when he does a helicopter, everybody ducks for cover.
Boy's got a hammer.
Yeah, it's like
They call
For
it
real.
Stanley, as in the power tool.
That's right. That I did that short because I was being it's funny, I think of things as supportive and the rest of the world doesn't, because I was
They
just
were
like
not happy.
it's
with
like,
that.
hey, I'm like, just watch bikes,
We lost
man.
viewers.
Oh, I had people unsubscribe. Yeah.
We lost.
Are you
viewers.
serious?
Oh, it's
Yeah.
other channels, and I'm like, look, man, like
Yeah.
people watch things for a million different reasons, right? I watch certain channels because I learn from them. Like it's well done and they put the research in and the effort. I don't care what your impressions are of a video that we all saw. I want information that I can't glean from the video we all saw. And all of those videos would have just been the same shit we all saw. Like I'm not interested. And I feel like it sort of clogs YouTube. There's 3 days where you can't find anything because it's nothing but this and that jerk's take on the same freaking thing. And but
Yeah, I don't. I'm
so-
sorry you lost viewers, but I
So-
did. I mean, I've had a shout out from Shade Tree Surgeon, from the Flipnaw, a few Adam Sandoval one time, and things like that. And I get 5 viewers, something like that. That day I had not put a video out, and I got like 50 new subscribers that day. From your short. So maybe they unsubscribed to your channel, but they subscribed to mine.
CVOs, and it's the one you want to watch. Like that's the one you want to watch. Nothing else. Don't bother. Don't even watch Harley's video on them. Watch, watch this one. It'll be more in depth. So
when he trips me up, I'll just go, I don't know. You're the expert.
There you go.
Just make something up. Well, that's definitely 19.2.
Yeah.
But as long as you say it with like authority, like it's 19.2.
As God is my witness.
So I saw a video by a publication on the CVO that talked about the preload on the CVO, and the way he describes it is not the way the press release describes it. And it's things like that worry me. I saw, so I think you might know, I have another channel. I haven't put a video out on the wall called New Bike Mike. Before I was doing some other bikes on there and stuff. There was this little bitty Honda dirt bike, like a 50cc electric dirt bike that came out. The press release said it had 12 inches of rear suspension. The fucking seat height's only 24 inches. Don't give me that shit. Somebody's got a typo. I messaged Honda, no response. Every magazine published that specification, no questions asked. How can a bike with a 20-inch seat height have 12 inches of travel in the rear suspension? It's in a 12-inch shock. It's impossible. And they just copy paste, write a narrative around these specs and go on. And not a one of them.
Well, they also, like Consumer Reports has been nailed for that, because I remember my uncle was the CEO of Mitsubishi Electronics North America, and he sued Consumer Reports and won about 40 years ago because they had given negative reviews for a bunch of TVs that had never been sold in America. So how could they possibly have tested any of these products? And they hadn't, because their whole thing was we buy them in a local store and we test them. And so there's a lot of that, taking whatever the manufacturer sends you and you just dump it into a spec sheet and put it in your magazine, when that's not the case. So that's why, like, there's certain magazines we were like, I mean, we're friends with Chris and Heather, of course, from Cycle Source. They would never just dump a spec sheet into a art. They would never do that. It would be like, I wrote it. This is what it felt like. That's what you're going to get. You're not going to get 10.2 versus about, because they I don't know. You can't feel that. What does it feel like?
Yeah. Right. So Krusty's one of those people that came from the short that you put out. That's how I found my channel. So thank you, Krusty. And, but let me read this to you from the press release and then explain what the magazine said. And you see if they sound anything alike. So there's, on the CVO, they have that an adjuster on the left-hand side for preload.
Right.
You saw that, right? Okay. So what the press release says is, it features a new remote hydraulic preload adjustment knob located forward on the left saddlebag. Adjustments can easily be made to the rear suspension preload without tools or removal of the saddlebag to accommodate up to an additional 100 pounds of cargo loading or short-term passenger adjustments beyond the primary suspension load condition.
Just like the Softail has been for 5 years.
Right. So what that sounds like is you can adjust the preload on here if you're going to throw somebody on the back for a short ride, or you're going to throw luggage on there and stuff. Right. But if you're going to do it long term, you should pull the saddlebag out and actually use the spanner, wrench, and adjustment. What this magazine described was you adjust your preload with the rear suspension, and then you can fine tune it with this, micro increments with this outside adjuster. Well, I don't think 100 pounds is fine tuning and micro adjustment, in my opinion, or a passenger. That's not how I would describe it.
That's a big deal. Yeah.
But,
look at Jason Allen's comment. His buddy bought one and has already had issues with it. But I will say this. I defend Harley. I always do. I have no, whatever interest in it, but I do. Anytime you launch a brand new giant leap forward, the first few, if you buy the first 100 of a motorcycle, you're going to have more problems than the person who buy the last 1,000.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
I got a 16 Street Glide last year of the Twin Cam 103. The next year, the next year, my buddy bought an M8. He was all excited. I'm like, fucking, you don't have any idea, bro. You got the first year. He had to wait 18 months for he could get exhaust he wanted, because they didn't make any for it yet. And, like a full exhaust system and this and that. I'm like, I'm glad I got the last Twin Cam. I'm okay with that. I got a stage 1. I run just as good as you, and you spent $1,000 more on your bike. I spent $1,000 on my stage 1, and we're at the same level, but I got a Twin Cam that's been, fine tuned over 8 or 10 years for this particular displacement before they moved on to the next one.
Yeah. That's why I'm not getting the new CVO.
That's why.
Monkey, I think we should, I have a campaign we should start. So do you know what they do with these demo bikes when they're done with them?
Crush them?
Yes. I think they should loan them out to content creators. We sign a release and let us actually do long-term 3-month reviews on them, not 2 weeks, 3 months. If you're going to crush them, why don't you use them to further your marketing campaign? That was the whole purpose of the demo bikes to begin with, is a marketing strategy.
They do that, actually. They sent one of the first ever Sportster S's to Bikes and Beards. They created it up and sent it to him, and I don't know what the conditions were, but he said in the video this was an original demo bike. It can't be sold. Right. So he was just going to cut it up and do something stupid with it. I can't remember what he did, but so that's a prime example. That this one, I know her, and I know that she might be interested in a new CVO in the next year.
I'm not.
I know that.
Maybe.
Now, I have issues with it because I love the new body. I think the new Batwing is a quantum leap forward. I love the look of the new Batwing. I think it's especially from the side. It looks like it has fangs. Like it's a very cool looking bike.
It's growing on me.
What's that?
So it's growing on me. At first, I thought it looked like a Chieftain, but it's growing on me.
It's got a lot of cool angular designs to it. I like the new Batwing a lot. I actually am less in love with the new Road Glide every time I look at it because the headlight is the whole face. Like it's all light. And that doesn't, it looks like an alien. That doesn't agree with me as much. So, but I think all things are cyclical. I believe the Road Glide is super popular right now. It's trendy. People buy them because it's trendy right now. I think it'll go back to the Batwing. I just think it does. People just flip-flop and go wherever. They go back to Softails. Now it's back to touring bikes. And then it's you're just always, Harley is constantly just looking for the next thing. And who knows what that is. I am in love with the new Breakout.
Yes.
I love that bike. Every time
I rode one.
Woo. Oh, they ride terrible.
I rode it. It wasn't that bad. And it didn't actually. So at Lake of the Ozarks.
Really turn.
Yeah, well, it's not as bad as the Fat Boy. So
really?
At the Lake of the Ozarks, there is a demo route you're supposed to take, and the dealer already knows that I don't follow the route because I get off one exit early. Because the exit they have you get off is so you don't cross traffic and you make a right at a light and all this stuff and don't get hit trying to cross a divided highway. So I get off an exit early because that's the exit that goes up to the hospital, and they have a roundabout in it. So they have a roundabout where I can see if I can drag the peg or not at 15, 20 mile an hour. And then you come out of the roundabout and you sweep to the opposite direction. Then you sweep back to the left. So I get 3 sweeps out of it. And that's all I can do on this demo route. But that's where I can really see, even if it's only 15, 25, 35 mile an hour, I can see how to lean. The Fat Boy feels like I'm pushing a fucking fat kid up a hill.
Really?
I mean, yeah, the Road King was great. But the Fat Boy was terrible on that roundabout. But the Breakout was not as bad as I thought it would be. It was closer to the Road King as far as the way it handled. It was definitely better than the Fat Boy, in my opinion.
My only experience is Z's Breakout was a 2015 twin cam, whatever. And I worked on something on him, and he's like, "Oh, we'll trade. Let's try it." And so he rode mine, I rode his, and I was like, "That son of a bitch doesn't turn. Like it just doesn't turn." In a sweeping turn, you had to like just to get it to like.
That's how I felt.
Crazy, and the bars were low, and it just was like, no, I'm going straight.
That's how I felt about the Fat Boy. I hated it. I mean, I felt like I was forcing it to get through the roundabout. But
it's amazing what you get used to. But I'm that son of a bitch. The old one anyway wouldn't turn. The new one though, I don't know if it's better. I'm sure it's better from what you said, but the look of it, man. If you put 20-inch apes and that orange and black Breakout and some badass upswept pipes or something, you'd have a modern chopper. I mean, you'd have a pretty badass bike. Like,
and they got a 5-gallon tank now to Breakout.
Yeah,
I really want a Softail standard because I want to chop it up. I have not seen a Milwaukee 8 chopper, and I. Sorry,
I said something to my dad about wanting a chopper, and he sent me a picture this morning of a hardtail with Delcron cases and an Ultima motor in it. And I listened on Facebook. I'm like, that's not what I meant. It's got a Springer front end, but I'm like, first off, I'm like, it's Delcron cases. So it's an aftermarket motor or something's been done. It's going to have, I said, unless it's really cheap, I'm not interested. And it was $4,500.
Yeah, you can ride mine.
Yeah. I was like, no.
When you're in Sturgis, you can ride mine. It'll be there. I don't know that I'll keep mine only because it doesn't get ridden that much, and I would like to take that money and dump it into more money and do something like a panhead or something like that.
I'd like eventually to get to a panhead. My dad's got that 80 Evo, his first year, the Softail Springer, and he's like, as long as if I die before your mom, you're gonna have to convince her not to sell it so that you can inherit it. Otherwise, you'll inherit it. So I've got to work on that strategy.
Just tell mom it's worth about $700. So if dad,
my mom used to ride too. She's not gonna fall for that.
So my buddy Jason has the 99 Springer Softail, the last year of the Evo Springer Softail, Isn't it funny that they made that bike for 19 years?
Wow.
Like, it's a skinny tire Evo Softail Springer, 1999. 19 years, the same motorcycle, basically.
88 was the first year of the Springer Softail custom.
Oh, 88. Okay,
Yeah,
so 11
years. Yeah.
Yeah, 11 years. The same motorcycle. Well, yeah, it would have been a Shovel in 1980. Yeah, so 11 years. So it's just, can you imagine if the Toyota Camry stayed unchanged for 11 years? Like,
you know,
Look, it's
I'm
back in style again.
I haven't actually done a video like on the YouTube channel, but people that probably are in the live and people that know, Firecracker used to have a purple Dyna. We got her Sport Glide painted purple. She decided that, you know, purple was part of what she loved about that bike, but she didn't ride it. And since she got the Sport Glide, she never rides it. She decided she'd rather sell it, take the money, pay some bills, whatever else. I'm like, okay, I'll buy it. So I bought her purple Dyna from her. So it's now my purple Dyna, and I don't know if it'll stay purple, which she's not happy about, but it's now my purple Dyna. I get to do whatever I want with it. We keep having this discussion. She's like, yeah, after you do all this stuff to it, then I might want it back. And I'm like, no,
CJ, that's not how that works.
Yeah. So
Isn't it?
No.
yeah, I see you and her think a lot alike. But that Dyna had the biggest thing I got to get new tires on because it's never had tires since we've owned it. And that's been 6 years now. And they were probably 6 years old when she got it.
Damn.
They're not wore out, but I'm going to try and put some miles on them. I keep them.
Well, you can burn them off because they're pretty hard at this point. They'll burn off real well.
Yeah. I'm not trying to like drag the pegs on it or anything. So I get new tires on it, but I ride it back and forth to work. And I did blow 100 mile an hour up a hill on it the other day. But I have TPMS, so I keep a good eye on the tire pressure and all that stuff. But, you know, it's just fun. It's a 5-speed. It's loud. It's carbureted. You know, it takes me back to when I first started riding Harleys 20 years ago. Yeah. You know, or my first Harley was a 94 Evo. But, yeah, it has that same carbureted feel, 5-speed, Dyna, you know, and I'm like, I feel 15, 20 years younger every time I get on it and ride it. You know,
you should ride my Shovel.
I'll feel like I'm sperm.
You'll feel like you're 105 because you're like, what the fuck is going on? Like, no, if you're rolling 65 mile an hour on the highway, you're like, wow, this is smooth and friendly and happy and feels like any modern motorcycle. Then you slow down to a red light and at certain RPMs, it just shudders real hard for a second as you downshift and stuff. So, but it's a 5-speed.
Well, you know, and I think this Dyna, I mean, I'm trying to decide what I want to do with it, but I got to fix the rear suspension. Somebody put it's 11 inches from eyelet to eyelet. So,
okay,
and that
so hardtail it, then you fix the suspension.
Well, it's hardtailed now, basically. It's hardtailed now, basically, with that suspension. It's supposed to be 13. So they put 2-inch short.
I'd chop it.
I'm thinking about putting 13s or 14s on it. And Clockworks is FXRP fairing on it, and show people that you can take a 25-year-old bike, drop a couple of grand in it, have $8,000 in a motorcycle, and tour across the country on it.
Yeah,
because I've already when I got it for her, it took me a year to find it, but I found OEM saddlebags. They're the leather saddlebags, but they have the kind of the rigid frame in them. So it's got leather saddlebags that are factory for it. If I put close to, you know, factory ride height shocks back on it, but maybe, you know, Legends or Olands or something that rides really good, rebuild the front forks, put a FXRP fairing on it and show people that, you know, ride that to Sturgis next year. That's what people rode to Sturgis, you know, 30 years ago.
I'm telling you what, if I didn't have, you know, a real job and stuff and have, you know, a family to support, I'd get on that fucking shovel head and ride that some bitch Sturgis. I'd have to stop for oil a lot because there's a magical oil leak somewhere on the right side that no one can find. But when I say it leaks oil, it blows oil every once in a while. Like it's just wet. The saddlebags, everything's just wet with oil. No one knows where it comes from, but the bike runs flawlessly. But in 1980, when that bike was built, the national speed limit was 55 miles an hour. So it is geared accordingly. It's a 5-speed, but at 65 miles an hour, you're pushing it.
Yeah.
You're at the end, you know, like, so a lot of people said like, oh, it just changes sprockets or this, that, and the other. It still has the original oil bath chain Like it's pretty much preserved original 1980, other than hardened valves, so it runs, unleaded. Other than that, it's an original preserved motorcycle. So, but what I wouldn't give to ride that thing to Sturgis.
Yeah, I mean, we're I don't know. Whether it's as I get older, I'm getting more nostalgic or what, but I also want to do it before I physically can't. I bought a Street Glide in 2016, and I actually, when I bought that bike, I had a 200-mile a day commute to work. So I wanted a motorcycle I could commute to work on and back, and put serious miles on and stuff. And that's why I bought a touring bike. And I'm not opposed to the idea of trading it in on a CVO or a Street Glide Special with the 121 in a few years or something else. I'm not emotionally that attached to it or anything that I can't get rid of it, but I'd like to have a touring bike for when I got to be somewhere, got to go do a trip, and it's got to be reliable and go. But I really enjoy riding the Dyna. I had a buddy of me, we were talking about, he's got a Softail. He put a big S&S motor in. He's like, I love riding it because sometimes I'm scared it's going to kill me, and sometimes I'm scared it's not going to make it home. But
it's so exciting.
But yeah, it's like part of what I remember, or why I became a biker and what it was like when I first became a biker. That's what it was like 30 years ago. They weren't as reliable.
Yeah, it'd be awesome to ride the shovel up to Sturgis. It'd be great to do all those things. But I mean, one of the challenges we have is it's 7-8 hours to the Georgia line. Like that. So, and then Georgia is another, it's 1,300 miles to St. Louis. It's 2 days.
Yeah.
And now 2 days to get to the middle of the country.
Right.
So then another 1,000 miles to Sturgis. It's like 2,450 or something like that.
Yeah, I know it's 1,000 miles from Sturgis from St. Louis, because a buddy of mine left Sturgis and rode home. He left 4 a.m. from the house and made it home at midnight or something. Rode it straight through 4 years ago.
Yeah, he did an iron butt to get home.
Yeah, undocumented, but he just did it because he wanted to go home.
But it is like it's not. That's actually a good iron butt, because from St. Louis, you don't have Nashville, you don't have Atlanta, you don't have Chattanooga, you don't have, what I mean? Like you can do 1,000 miles. You can do that. It's like actually 980 or something from St. Louis to Sturgis. That's a pretty good 980, because other than KC, you're just blasting the whole way.
And you bypass KC by going across at St. Joe to Macon.
Yeah.
And that's a divided highway. It's a good run, but you bypass that traffic.
Even 435 is not bad. The loop around the city is not bad.
Every year when I hit Atlanta, I always get this whole like, all right, come to Jesus meeting with myself going, do I want to go around Atlanta, or do I just want to frickin' suck it up? Because it's 30, 40 minutes shorter to just head straight long into downtown, pulling my 36-foot rig. And every year I go, fuck it. I'm just, I'm just going in.
Unless something's changed, writing on 3 here comment, iron butt, like the official thing, that's not good enough. You have to have signed receipts, take photos. Yeah.
At every turn, you have to have a gas receipt.
Yeah. Like you have to be able to prove that you were the one riding the bike. You have to take a picture with the receipt. It's got to be signed by someone else. I mean, the record button's great for you to document for yourself, but that's not going to actually work for an iron butt unless something's changed that I don't know about.
Here's my issue with the iron butt, and I'm going to piss so many people off. It's an entire organization built around people who evidently have something to prove. Because everyone on this live stream has got many, many 500-mile days. So I could do 1,000-mile day. It's not a big deal. It's not a big deal at all. A buddy of mine did. He did it recently because he was one of those and I love him to death, but he needed the patch. He needed to prove something. He had something to prove. So they went from Miami to Jacksonville and then down. And I'm just like, enjoy the patch. Wide, but it was just a shit ride. Like why do you have something to prove? I don't understand that. Like, it's really not that big a deal. No one has an iron butt patch for people with pickup trucks. because they got in their pickup truck and drove it 1,000 miles a day. It's just because you had to go 1,000 miles in a day. Like, why as bikers do we make this a thing? It's not.
Right. I don't want to do 1,000 miles in a day unless I've got somewhere I've got to be.
Yeah, somewhere you got to be.
Because that's not,
patches.
That's not enjoyable to me. I mean, the more I ride, the more I want to not be on the interstate, the more I want to see this country that is, the face of the real part of the country, not the billboard you see on the interstate and the tourist trap at the exit.
2019, I rode from Deadwood, South Dakota, past Kansas City, almost down to Wichita and back to do 1,000 miles. I don't need some guy that I'm going to give $40 to tell me I did it. I did it because I just wanted to do it. The weather was perfect. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go for it. Glad I did it. Would I ever want to do it again? No.
I can't tell you how many times the organization shall be named that we would have a thing we had to do in Orlando or Tampa or Jacksonville or whatever. And we would roll out at 3:30 in the morning and we would roll up to Orlando or Tampa or wherever it was and do the thing we had to do. And then I would go to Disney World and stop at one of the value resorts and pick up one of their special Mickey Mouse pizzas. It's just a regular large pizza with pepperoni on it, but it comes in a box that has Mickey Mouse and Goofy and all the, the characters on it. And I would throw that in my tour pack and then I would ride home and then I would microwave it or throw it in the oven. And actually the missus is going with me multiple times on this, but we would sit as a family and have Mickey pizza at the end of the day. And that was like always special and fun. And that's probably 600 miles, right? Easily to do one of those days. But that was just part of life. Like it was just like a thing we did on a Saturday. And I don't know, man. I don't know how you can make a competitive sport out of something that is just getting, and I'm not talking about like Whit Meza, who went like, she visited Jesus and, like she went and did her thing where she went to 6,000 quick trips in 2 hours. I don't know, like she traveled the whole country. I'm just saying like the Iron Butt thing, cool down, man. Doing 1,000 miles in a day is not, you're not Superman. It's not that big a deal. Let it go.
Well, and to me,
okay, hey, that's a big deal.
Right. But I mean, like doing the Iron Butt, it's like, okay, so what part of the country did you see? Well, I ran the interstate from here to here to here. So what was the most memorable part of it? Well, I stopped at this gas station and took a photo and got my receipt signed. That's not.
They want a patch. They're chasing a patch. And I'm sorry, I think it's stupid.
Adam Sandoval did a great video way back when with Scooter where he was in Minnesota and he rode all the way back down to Texas and did an Iron Butt. And I mean, that's what he's like, dude, all I'm doing is going to gas stations.
Yeah.
I'm getting an energy drink and popping a Tylenol. And then I'm heading 85 miles an hour again back down a freeway.
Yeah. There's so much more to this, lifestyle that you're missing out on, like you said,
I think you're missing out on all of it.
Yeah.
I think you're missing the whole point. Like I have a lot of friends that are Hoka Hey, and that's testing yourself. That's a whole 1,000 miles a day for 10 days straight thing. That's endurance. That's crazy. I have buddies who talk about, oh, my ass was bleeding by the third day. You're like, Jesus Christ. And how they all have stock exhausts because they'll be deaf.
Yeah.
They have to have stock exhausts. They all run stock Ultra seats because that's the best seat for that.
Makes
that
sense.
Or the Mustang Super Tour, but really they're kind of the thing, But it's really, and they have pouches on their tanks full of almonds because that's what you want to eat. Mm-hmm. If you don't it's just craziness that impresses me. That impresses me. I don't care about 1,000 miles in a day. It's not. We could all do that.
So we did the Cassaday bike run a couple weeks ago, and if you get a chance, you're anywhere near Wichita, you need to stop at Twisted Oz in Augusta. It's a motorcycle museum. We got there at 2:00. They close at 4:00. So we had 2 hours, and Kelly is one of the guys there. He has several bikes in there. He's ran the Cannonball multiple times. He did, the old school bikes. I mean, like he's got a bike in there, and they were telling me a story, like the seam ripped on the gas tank and he had gas leaking on his crotch all day. So like at the end of the day, they stop somewhere and he stuffs a garden hose down his pants and turns the water on to, and he sent a picture to somebody. They're like, what the hell are you doing? He's like, I've had, gasoline balls all day, and
just going to fall off if I don't clean them off.
But they have this amazing motorcycle museum. They've got 150 to 160 bikes. There's a Dick Clark bike. There's this, there's that. They had an Indian Dispatch. Now, Monkey, you're probably not going to be as big a fan as I was because they have a lot of Indians.
No. I love 53 and earlier Indians.
Yeah, they have original Indians.
I love pre-53 Indians.
They have.
I love all
vintage.
I love all non-Polaris Indians.
There you go. So
love all non-Polaris Indians.
They have all these old Indians. They had old Indian or Excelsiors. He kickstarted a 1914 Excelsior on the first kick, and it started up. Wow. They've got one of 3 6-cylinder Indians that Indian never made a 6-cylinder. One of the guys there cut the 4 cylinders up and made it and gas welded the cases together and made his own crank and camshaft. And he's now made like 3 of them. And there's like 3 6-cylinder Indians in the world. And they've got one of them there. And he kickstarted it and started on the first Kickstarter.
That's insane.
Like all but 10 of the 150 or 60 bikes start and run. And they start them on a regular basis. Some of them he's done the Cannonball on in the last 5 years or whatever. Just amazing stuff. They've got a 1-of-1 bike that, like, I don't remember if it was in the 20s or 30s, but a guy built a prototype and he rode it all the way to Florida with his wife on the back, because you had to, like, back then prove that your bike would actually survive the trip or whatever, to try and get some manufacturer to pick up your design. So this guy built this bike, rode with his wife, to Florida, and nobody picked the bike up. So they've got the prototype, that never was put into production, stuff like that. They got a bike some guys dropped off at the shop one day and asked him to take because his wife was making him throw it away for scrap if he didn't get rid of it. And it's now worth like $80,000.
Wow.
I mean, it's just an amazing museum. They had an old, mint condition Honda Elsinore up on top of the thing. They've got a motor from one of the World Wars when they were in a crate that's never been taken out of the crate. They peeled like half the boards off the crate so you can see inside of it, but it's still in the crate that it was shipped in.
God, what would that be worth today? Holy Jesus. It's
Twisted Oz in Augusta, Kansas. And if anybody's listening and you get anywhere near Wichita, it is worth your time to spend 2 hours in there. If you were disappointed, then I owe you a bottle of whiskey, because you're a liar. Because I don't see how anybody that loves motorcycles could be disappointed in there. And they don't just let you walk in. I mean, they try and take you on a tour and tell you about all this stuff. They had a horseless carriage, steam powered carriage they were working on when we were there getting it going.
We were at Leesburg this year, and a viewer of the channel came to our campground there, Windy Acres, to meet us, and we're hanging out. And I'm like, so what are you here on? He's like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. I'm like, why? And he goes, I'll ride an Indian. I'm like, I don't hate people who ride Indians, dude. I had a bad one. And then it comes out, he had a Gilroy Scout. I was like, I want to see this. It's out in the parking lot. Had a 110-inch S&S, and I'm on the ground climbing around this thing, getting under and then he says, yeah, man, I paid $3,500 for it. And I've been fixing all of its little things, because Gilroys were handmade motorcycles and they had issues, and this bike's, 20 years old. But no, I don't hate Indians. Mine was a piece of shit, and Polaris was bad about it.
Right.
And the funny thing is, I have tried to mend that. I have actually said, prove me wrong, and they won't.
or can't.
If there's a list out there, I think I'm on it. I feel like there's a list somewhere.
I did a video not too long ago, and somebody comment or something, and they said something about Harley listening to my videos, and somebody else commented, yeah, like Harley-Davidson's paying attention to this little channel. And I just commented,
No, they really are.
I said, you'd be surprised what Harley-Davidson's paying attention to.
They really, really are. I made a remark and got a phone call a couple hours later recently. And I was like, oh, wow. Well, at least you're listening.
Yeah.
I'm still pissed about this thing, but
I think I know what you're talking about too. I won't bring it up.
But you know, hey, at least you're listening.
And that to their credit, they are, I think, for whatever reason, I get the impression that they are embracing social media content creators and stuff a lot more the last few years.
And another thing is, this is going to sound kiss-assy, but I swear to God, there's some really badass people working at Harley these days. There's some really neat people that get it and are the ones grabbing whoever, going like, you got these, like, these are the people that ride the bikes. And I hate to use the word influencer because I think it's cheesy and it makes you think of some chick in a Thailand resort. But like, it is like that. These are people who have found this issue and have identified it, and people are listening to, and so they're listening to those channels. And I think that's awesome. I think it really is cool that Harley is listening, because no bullshit, got a phone call shortly after a certain thing happened. And I was like, oh, well, I'm still pissed, but you were listening. That's cool. That matters. And this individual, I love to death. So,
Right. Yeah. All right, guys, it is after almost 10:30. I've been at it for 3.5 hours, and Firecracker's probably already asleep. So, Bunky, are you just going to stay up and do your business call in 2 hours?
Yeah, I have a call at 1:15 a.m. East Coast time with India and Japan.
Are you going to ask them?
If you've done what I've done long enough as I have, I don't have to change shirts. I can sit here in a Buffalo Chip t-shirt, and they will totally be okay with it. But it'll be fine.
All right. Are you going to ask them if they've rode the X440 yet?
Actually, not the same people, but another friend of mine from India texted me a press release from India about the X440 about 3 months ago.
Oh, wow.
And said, look at what they're building. Da, da, da. And I said, go buy one right now and crate it up and send it to me in the States. And funny thing is, he was like, really? Because I'll find out. Like, he's a trade lawyer. He could probably do it, but
Well, military people get to ship stuff back pretty easy. Can you find do we have any military bases in India?
Well, I have trade people, but it would be easier to go to Harley and say, this is what I want. You always ask me, what do I want? This is what I want. I want the Indian bike no one can get, because I want to throw it in the back of my pickup truck and use it as a drunken pit bike in Sturgis. And I would lose them right then. Right then at that moment is when they would just go,
no. But, I don't know. Did you see the Trident Speed 400?
I did. I watched your whole video.
Yeah. The Trident Speed 400 looks good.
I'm telling you, I think that sporty, I'm sorry. I call it a sporty. It's not. That 440 has I just don't get why I get why they would sell it, because what do you think that would cost here? $7,500. I
did the comparison to what the Royal Enfield sells for there versus here to try and get an idea of what they would have to increase the cost to export it and stuff. I would say it would be between 5 and 6 with the Harley wood. I think the Trident or the Triumph would be $6,500 to $7,000. So I'm thinking maybe $1,000 difference between the Triumph and the Harley.
Let's call it $69.95. Would people not buy a $69.95 lightweight Harley 440 in the U.S.?
Some people would.
I think they would.
I think
not by not tons of them, but I would. I'd be at my dealer tomorrow. If it was a $7,000 440 single, little tiny bike, I'd be like, take my credit card, whatever you need to like,
and put knobbies on it while you're at it.
And put knobbies on it, and it's going to be my run around the campground bike. A Honda, the off-road bike, the little Super Cub with what's that thing called?
The Ruckus.
The Trail. No, the
Oh.
Honda Trail is the only thing big enough to hold my fat ass. So Ruckus won't hold me. The Honda Trail is 4,000.
Yeah.
And it's a 125 bicycle.
CC. Yeah.
You know, basically.
Now,
I
if you
pay
get that,
$7 for a Harley.
if you get that bike, you got to race El Buffalo in his golf cart.
Oh, I'd whip his ass. It'd be ridiculous. It'd be so bad. I'm gonna race him on the chopper. Mine breaks half the time anyway. I think it's a safe run.
All right, guys, we're gonna call tonight. Monkey, I really appreciate you coming on, hanging out for a while. Tell the missus we appreciate her being in here for a bit too. And I think we've got 3 weeks. You got less.
I have 10 days.
Yeah, I have 3 weeks roughly.
Yeah.
I leave for
roll in
Colorado
10
on the
days. It takes me 4
28th.
days to get there.
So it's coming up.
Yep. All right.
All right, y'all.
We'll talk to y'all later. Thanks everybody for tuning in, and y'all stay safe and keep on riding.
See ya.